Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the second video in this series where we're reading through Chainsaw Man. At least I'm reading for the first time, and I'm joined by Kyle Entertainment.
Who's rereading because he read Chainsaw Man when he should have 2.5 years ago or whatever it was.
True, he loves
Can
his
you
manga.
believe this idiot watched an anime? But we're past that. We're past that now. We don't need to talk about this motion cartoon anymore. Just black and white, still imaged. Good.
The beautiful still images, yes. But we read chapters 39 to 70, which seems, as far as I'm understanding, seems to cover 2 arcs. Would you say that's accurate?
That is accurate.
Okay, good. Which is
Get
about
because I said
Reese.
accurate, not accurately. That was really funny, Ari. You didn't laugh.
Why is that funny?
Because I said accurate, not accurately.
What?
It was
you're a genius.
misnomer.
Okay, yes, you're
I don't
very
think
funny,
that's what a
Kyle. Thank you.
misnomer
All
is.
right.
Keep going. Recap
Okay,
time.
recap. Arc 1, about Reese, basically. Reese is a half human, as far as I'm correct me if I got anything wrong here, by the way, which is very possible, but Reese is a half human, half devil bomb girl, and she takes
like
Denji on a
Denji.
date. Yes, exactly, just like Denji, except a bomb instead of a chainsaw. And they go on a date, and then it's revealed she's a Russian guinea pig who's trying to kidnap Denji. She fights Division 2, fights Division 4, and then fights Denji himself, riding a shark, and then Denji wraps her in chains, and they sink to the bottom of the ocean, and then Makima and the Angel Devil kill her. That's the first arc.
Indeed.
Second,
You didn't
second arc.
mention the date, the date little in between.
Oh, true.
chapter
Yes,
thing.
before any of this, there's
We're
a
gonna talk
single.
about that.
We definitely will, but there's a date chapter. Yes. But then we go into arc 2, which is about a bunch of assassins. Basically, they all come in want to get Denji. So, like, Denji or the Chainsaw Devil, I guess, is exposed. Is exposed to the public. And assassins from around the world want to come and take him away from Makima. And then everyone fights each other, and everyone in the department store gets sent to hell. And then they fight the Darkness Devil. And then Makima brings everyone back to Earth somehow. And then Denji, I don't know what happens here, but Denji kills Tolka's master, who is a doll devil or something, and then using his shining power.
It is confusing.
It's very confusing.
We'll make it through.
And that's it. That's the recap. But
Well, EliteAri, in that time I learned that misnomer is just when you misname something and not what I was doing.
yeah, you were
I
making a
Googled
pun or something, right?
I think I was just being wrong, but for comedic effect. That's something.
Right.
But indeed, 2 arcs here. Now we're getting into overall thoughts. The recap are done. Now there are sides here. There is Miller's side and there is
boy.
Kyle's side, and it all depends on which arc you think is superior, EliteAri. And I'm not going to tell you until you make a decision. But from that recap, I might have got a taste. Which arc is better, EliteAri?
Oh, Jesus. It's funny because I didn't
They were
even
both
think
pretty
about this
good? Are you
before
gonna
now.
be a
I would
centrist
say
piece of shit?
no. I think there's one that's clearly better to me. I'm just trying to compare them to the previous arc, and I think they're both better than the previous one. Like, I think the story got better. And I would say the first arc is better, the Reese arc. Whose side is that? God.
Can you believe what this idiot just said? He's a fucking Reese simp. We're taking him out behind the woodshed. We're putting him out of his misery.
boy.
I'm quitting.
Well, maybe you can change my mind, though. I think a lot of my hesitancy is to, like, giving the second arc, making it better, or making it even, like, a perfect arc, is just I didn't understand a lot of it toward the end, which is strange. Like, it doesn't happen often, I guess, when I'm, like, I don't know, it hasn't happened to me before, where I'm reading and I'm just, like, confused as to what's happening.
I definitely, going into the Assassin's arc, it was definitely the one I sort of remembered the least, but remembered the most, because I didn't remember the particulars too bad. Halloween was a massive meme when Chainsaw Man was coming out. Like, everybody would talk about it.
The character?
I'd kind of, what did you say? Hold on.
The character?
Oh, and just the phrase, and yeah, the character. Well,
Right.
that's not the character's name, but like the
Yeah.
concept and everything. Just like Kobeni's car was a massive meme. We'll get into all.
Oh
these
man,
things.
what a thing.
But yeah. But I couldn't remember the particulars about how it worked or the context. And I didn't remember how. Like, I remembered Santa Claus, but I didn't remember how that ended up.
Oh,
But obviously the Darkness Devil stuff is like the coolest thing that's ever been in anything ever.
It is. Yeah. I agree.
It's kind of the peak of fiction and the peak of Chainsaw Man. So them being put together, I did like the rest of it a lot more. But I didn't, the Assassin's arc in general, I was like, man, all those characters and what were they all about again? But I'm like, that's the Darkness Devil shit, man.
Yeah, I think I agree. If the darkness stuff alone is better than anything else so far, but it's mixed with a lot of other stuff that I just didn't understand or was a bit weird. I don't know, but still good. All this is still great overall.
We'll talk through it. I think I kind of get it now. I just got a giant brain over here.
All right, good. Yeah, true.
But I guess just before we get into specifics, overall thoughts. Do you like the first arc because of Reese? Are you a Reese simp like the rest of these fucking animals? Or do you like it for just... Oh,
no, I like it because of Reese. Reese is great. Jesus, it's crazy. I haven't even thought about the arcs as arcs. It's good because... I don't know. It is. It's all about a girl. I don't know. That's really why I like it so much. And she's mean, but she's also a nice person.
She's not even mean in a fun way. Get her out of here.
All right.
No, I liked it because I was shit talking this. I've been shit talking it forever. I think because Miller liked it so much, it intensified my shit talking of it. But I liked it more this time. I thought it was pretty good. This girl is okay, I guess. But yes, we've got a formal way to go through this. Ari's done the outline, so we don't want to get into all of it too quickly.
Yeah.
Just briefly before we start getting... Well, I guess this is getting in... I'm doing it. I guess this is getting into the next part where we go through it. We are going to go through it chronologically, basically like we did last time. Or did we do that last time? But that's how we've outlined it today. And by we, I mean Ari did it, and he sent it to me, and I said, yeah,
Kyle approved it.
The first... And it was funny, because last time you made such a big deal about the last 2 pages that weren't in the anime, and you're like, what do these horns mean and everything? You're freaking the fuck out, and I'm like, Ari, what are you doing? And it was just it's basically a plot device for Power to not be there and to introduce Beam the Shark Man as Denji's buddy for an arc.
Yeah, I had a question about that, like if there was a meta reason for it, or if it was like I didn't understand, because Power disappeared from that arc, and it seemed for no reason, really.
Well, yeah, she drank too much blood, killing those zombies, I guess. It does establish that, like, if she drinks a lot of blood, she gets a lot more powerful, and Makine's sort of got to, I don't know, do they drain her blood? Maybe they say something specific about it. But they got to, it's basically Power's not going to be around. Beam is, because Shark Boy is cool. Too bad he died, but we're not up to that yet.
I don't know any of the aftermath of that
when we'll get there. Yes.
Anyway.
Because that's actually something that they're not too clear about. Well, I guess they are. We'll talk about that when we get to the Darkness Devil stuff.
Yep. That's
but
it.
Instead, I guess I'm actually not going to do it, and you have to. I just wanted to mention the horns thing, because I remember that last time. I was so excited for the horns, but yeah.
Yep.
Take it away. Where did we go in that first chapter?
Well, we're not going to do that yet. We're going to go over our favorite panels, Kyle.
Oh, are we doing this early? Okay.
Of course. I want to get this out of the way, all right? So we got each of us to pick approximately 5 panels, or panels or pages or whatever that were the best. Yeah, Kyle picked more than 5, but
because they technically go together. The last 2 were right.
Yes, it's all good.
So are we going to do 1 then 1, or all of them?
Let's do 1 and 1. So go your first one. Show me yours.
Wait, I wish I could see him to choose one to go first, because I think. All of mine are from the I'm going to do my bottom ones yet. The people can't see this, so they don't even see this. The 2,
I'll cut this out.
Which is a page flip, which is the first one of the Hell Demon Devil putting his hand down, and then you turn the page and the hand's closed. Oh no, I accidentally sent the same one twice, EliteAri.
I know what you're talking about. I know the second one. Don't worry, I know what you're talking about.
But the hand closes.
Yeah.
Ari will have to find it for the video if he's editing. And it closes and they're suddenly in hell, or what we'll come to know as hell.
Indeed.
Sadly, one of my extra ones that Ari made me cut was just the first shot of hell, and how it's some Monsters Inc. shit, and it's so fucking cool, and it's the greatest thing of all time. But yes, we'll probably talk about that more later. But I think that's a great little thingy. The hands up, the hands closed, now they're in hell. The Hell Demon EliteAri, which is also something last time I was like, obviously hell exists, Ari, and you're like, no, there's no way.
I'm still not convinced, all right? We're going to talk about that.
Don't mean hell. Okay, we can talk about that. Ari, it's time for your first selection here.
All right, we're gonna open the first one here out of all my list, which is the amazing introduction of the Violence Fiend into the fight with Reese. I have never been so hyped for something in my life, Kyle. Can you believe it?
Interesting. Wait, it is the first one? I gotta click it.
Yeah, the first one where the Violence Fiend just comes in and kicks Reese. I thought you meant when his mask
comes off, but no,
not at all. That's lame. This is the best thing when he comes and just like kicks her basically, and I was so excited. I I couldn't believe it.
that
I like
happened.
shouted out. I was like, "Geez!" Like I was just so excited. I don't know why. I mean, I kind of know why because we see at least me when I saw him in the anime and he had this cool animation thing and I'm like, "Oh, this guy's so cool." When I see him here and he comes in, then he kicks, and then he's kind of weak and he like runs away with Kobeni and I'm like, "This is the greatest guy ever. I love this guy." So that panel is the embodiment of my excitement basically, and I love it.
There's actually some interesting things to point out in this panel. Did you notice that like 4 chapters in, Reese suddenly had panties on when she didn't beforehand?
No, I didn't actually.
I actually did notice it this time, and I wonder if it was an editor's note thing of like, we can't have her be bottomless anymore. Because there are pretty clear shots of her bottomless from the back. We're not getting that graphic here in Chainsaw Man. We are running in Shonen Jump, let's not forget, right next to My Hero Academia and whatever the other fuck is going on.
Yep.
But it was weird, and I did notice it, and I'm like, maybe the editor stepped in and was like, yeah, no more of this bare butt nudity on the sexy girl. No, thank you. But yes, the violence devil jumping out, it was something I'd forgotten, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. He doesn't run away like immediately afterwards.
And not only that, he runs over Kobeni. And it's like, I love those two together. They're a great dynamic. Violence devil is a bit of a coward. Do we bring up the thing that everybody wants of me and is screaming at their screens to bring up about the violence devil now? Or do we wait until later, EliteAri? That's up to you. I got no idea.
You don't have the panel of him taking his helmet off?
No, not at all. I have it, like a picture of it. But why? What is it?
Does that man look familiar, EliteAri?
To me, he looked like a character from Demon Slayer. But I mean...
Well, no.
Is it a Berserk thing? I don't know. What is it?
No, it's a Chainsaw Man thing. Now, this isn't supposed to be a big reveal because I'm convinced that everybody found this out after the fact.
Right.
But it looks a lot like Kobeni's first partner, Arai, in the face.
Oh my god, it does. You're right.
It's the Violence Fiend. So the Violence Fiend might have taken over his body right as he died after he got shot.
Huh.
Which is...
That's crazy.
Some of the contextual evidence for this. Now, this is never said outright because the Violence Devil kind of fucking dies when the Darkness Devil gets a hold of him. So he's not in it anymore, EliteAri. So there's no further, this is not a spoiler, there is no further evidence, so it's never outrightly confirmed, but they look extremely similar, and being Kobeni's partner and being a fiend and being nice to him. And I think there is almost a line that he has when they're on a date getting ice cream of like, I feel like I should be nice to you or something, where it's sort of like maybe he is remembering things from his human
he brings
host or whatever.
Yeah. Like he has more of his brain than usual.
Yeah, so that's probably the second biggest.
What a cool theory. I like that.
Yeah, theory from this thingy that I get to tell Ari all the things that every YouTube video says about Chainsaw Man, at least this part of it, that he somehow hasn't heard yet. And I get to tell him. We will get to the letters and the spelling of the arms later. Actually, we'll get it to...
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Should we do it right now? It is my turn. I don't remember which one's which, though.
Well, you can open the one.
Let's go with my top one. No, my top one is just Halloween and the bookshelf and the infinite bookshelf. And then the spines of the books and the great paneling. And the puppet demon devil Santa Claus has fallen down.
Well, believe it or not, that's also one of mine. The second last one. Yeah.
You copycat.
But it's so great. What a page. What a concept. It's like the best thing. That might even be better than the Darkness Devil stuff, honestly. I love the Halloween thing. It is. It definitely is. Right? It definitely is. It's better than the Darkness thing. This is like an all-time like story thing that I love so much. Is this Halloween thing, like the mystery?
I thought this was going to be the thing where you're like, I just don't get it, Kyle. Please explain.
No, I love it. How it's like the Cosmos Devil is telling you all the knowledge in the world, and for some reason, all you can think of is Halloween at the end, and it's like a mystery, and I love it. So cool.
And the way it's built up throughout the whole thing, and you're like, man, they really did this to that one waiter at the very beginning. Yeah, that poor waiter. Oh man. We'll talk more. But let's not blow our loads on Halloween yet.
All right.
So we both did one, which means it's back to me. My goodness. The other 2-page spread one, because we're going to talk about it, is the Darkness Devil showing up and just appearing. The panel beforehand, you see a bit of black glide past the whole group. There's like 2 shots of the group, one of that with nothing and just them stationary. Then there's a little bit of black on the very side of the panel, and it's like, oh my god, something just moved past them at lightning speed. He strikes a pose, and all their arms are gone, and it's the first bit of the destruction that's to come. These fucking idiots don't stand a goddamn chance. Now, the biggest thing, first of all, it's fucking sick. Paneling's great. Darkness Devil, what a design. Chainsaw
Like
Man's
the
the
cape
best.
is so cool. Yeah.
Indeed. His legs are a whole body, but then if you follow it up, it doesn't quite make sense.
Mm.
And then the head's there. What a wacky design.
Yep.
Screams darkness.
Yep.
But EliteAri, the big thing and the biggest big meme, even bigger than Arai, is in this panel that everybody says after they, in every video about this part, the arms EliteAri. Do you notice anything about the arms here?
Well, you said they spell something, but I can't see what
They
it's
indeed
spelling.
do spell M-A-K-I-M-A.
Oh, M. Makima? Is it really? Wait, I can't even see
Makima.
that. Oh, I do see it now. Interesting.
It's crazy, right? It blows your mind the first time you see it.
What does that mean? The arms.
The Darkness Devil is like got a rivalry with Makima. What is going on here, EliteAri?
Yeah.
And then right after this is when you get the Makima entrance, and it's the coolest thing you've ever seen. It's so crazy because this idiot shows up. I don't know if we want to get into all of it. We don't.
No, yeah.
But then Makima shows up, and it's like the fight. It's like seeing the Kage fight, and you're on episode 3 of Naruto. It's like, my goodness, Chainsaw Man ain't shit. The Darkness Devil and whatever Makima is, they're like the strongest people to ever exist, and they're just having a battle while everybody else can do nothing. It's crazy fucking shit. And this is like him screaming for Makima to arrive.
Yeah. Neat. That's great.
Fucking sick. The Darkness Devil, he's never been to Earth. They say that very specifically.
Yeah, he's never
one
died.
of the rudimentary fears or something that
Primal
is
fear.
too powerful to have ever died.
Indeed.
How does he know who Makima is? Why is Makima so... Because the whole time, everybody knows about Makima, and you're like, man, I didn't realize this girl was this important. And now the strongest devil in hell somehow knows who Makima is and demands her arrival. And then and then she goes toe to toe. What is going on with this bitch, EliteAri? What a mystery.
Yep.
It's the greatest. But I guess it's your turn.
True. Okay. Okay. Open my second one then, I guess. After the Violence Fiend, which is the finger taking away the children.
Oh, this is one of the ones I cut. So yes, Ari.
It's so cool. Like it's like a meta
coming
thing with the author like coming
again.
in, taking the children away of the water. Yeah, I think that's the best use of the border breaking thing so far.
Yes, it's one of the more famous panels in all of Chainsaw Man. It's fucking sick. Wait, is that the hell? Yes, that is the Hell Fiend's finger. I wonder what he looks like. We see his hand, and then we see the finger. It is the 4 kids that are mentioned at the very beginning, not 4 kids the dub, but Santa Claus says he wants 3 kids for sacrifice and 1 for pleasure. So that's terrifying.
A surprisingly cheap thing for the ability of sending people to hell, but maybe we'll talk about that. Yeah.
It is wacky, but yes, we will talk about that. All right, back to mine. Which one am I choosing? I honestly don't remember. Do I still only have 1 left?
You got 2.
I think so, right? No, I got 2. All right, the top one.
All right.
It is. It's the astronauts. Oh,
of
my
course.
goodness.
I got that as well.
EliteAri. Do you have this one as well?
Yes, I do. Yeah, it's
is
great.
This one, yes, it is. The greatest entrance in the history of fucking manga. Ari, this is another one. This is number 3 of the things that you have to be told whenever you get to this point by every YouTube video you ever seen about Chainsaw Man.
I can't imagine anything. This is very straightforward. What could be in this?
What do you think the astronauts symbolize, EliteAri? Well, that's not even that's. If you count them, EliteAri, that's how many people have died in space. Can you believe it?
Oh my god. That's awesome.
Because the ultimate darkness sphere is to be lost in space.
No, I got that.
Imagine if you died up there.
That's awesome. All right. Yeah, that's
such a great thing.
Sick.
Oh, and the shot before this, we're both hack frauds. The shot before this might be better, where it's just the single up of one and he's praying. It's so good. It's like, what the fuck are we doing in space? And it's just the Darkness Devil pulling a memery to do a cool entrance. And I assume this is on the moon in my head. Fucking crazy.
That's what I assumed. Yeah.
The Darkness Devil exists in space because it's all dark and shit.
That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? What a cool thing. Yeah. This Fujimoto guy, he knows
it's
what
like
he's doing.
13 or something, which is the unlucky number. My goodness. All right, I think we're on to your last one. Oh, no, you just that one. Oh, yeah.
Wait, that one? Yeah, well, that one.
You can jump the gun, and I've already clicked it. Oh, it's the Kobani.
Yeah, it's the Kobani crying in the car, like afterwards when everyone's leaving, and she's just distressed, right? And it's amazing. I love it.
Is
I think
this at
that's the
the
best
end or
Kobeni
after
panel.
power hits the
This is
thing?
after,
No.
like, oh no, this is like after like the car stuff is done, and she's just like contemplating
Yeah,
everything that
because
just
her car
happened.
gets crushed later, so it can't be
Yep,
her at the end of the arc. Um,
it's
the
awesome.
Kobeni's car gag is good, all right.
It's so funny.
Uh, yeah, it's like the second thing behind Reese that I always make fun of people for in Chainsaw Man. Like, this fucking car gag wasn't as funny as you idiots are saying.
Really? Oh my
It's
god.
pretty, yeah. It
It's
just
just Power.
irritates me,
Power
right?
makes that joke so great. She's like,
Yes.
tis your car, right? Or something. I'm like, oh, this is great. Poor Kobeni.
And then she
Anyway.
changes immediately, and then she
Yep.
knew the whole time that it was an imposter, and I believe her.
Yep.
All right, what's my last one? I forget. Oh, it's just the fucking crazy paneling
Oh yeah.
where the arms create the panels, and it's some crazy shit. And
Yep.
we got the I am the doll devil here. Um, just the way everybody's positioned. When you look at it really close, it like breaks your brain for a second, but then
Mm.
it fixes it, and you're like, yeah. There's also another really good one later where the Darkness Devil is in this similar position, but Aki is kneeling in front of him,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like
I remember that.
terrified out of his mind because it's funny because oh, it's so cool. The fiend that's with, I don't know how to say her name, but how do you say the Q girl's name, EliteAri?
Quan Chi?
Quan I'll
Quan
go
Chi?
with it.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I would assume it's a Chinese name, yeah.
I think in my head I just said Kingsani or something in my head. Doesn't matter. When one of her lesbian orgy girls
Yep.
is like freaking out and basically giving exposition, and she asks for permission to kill herself. It's so what an introduction. And then she's wait, I can't even remember what my original point was now. I'm so lost in the greatness.
Yep.
Fuck, what was I talking about, Ari?
The fiends. I don't know. I have no idea.
It was
Talking about the
Aki
panels,
kneeling, and then
yeah.
we got to her being so scared she wanted to kill herself from just being around. Then the fucking Monsters Inc. door opens and a little blob. My goodness, what a
What's going
greatest
on?
scene of all
Yeah.
time. Fuck, it was something to do with the Darkness Devil or something
Look at the
or
darkness
other.
around him. Look at his cloaks, and everyone's been wearing the black this whole time, and it all sets up perfectly for this. It's awesome.
God, I know it was a great point, Ari, and I've completely forgotten it.
What a shame.
I think it had to do with the fucking fiends.
They're all cool. I like their designs. One of them ties their brain into a knot. It's cool.
Yes, the one of them's always wearing like sex handcuffs. It's funny.
I didn't even notice. Okay, cool.
Yes. Fuck.
I don't know. I think it's gone.
Oh, it'll come back to us later. Wait, that's all the panels, right?
Yep. Brilliant. What a selection.
Literally all of mine are Darkness Devil related, except for the Halloween one.
True. Even that one kind of related.
Yeah. Yes. Fuck. That's gonna fuck with me, EliteAri. I'm getting
What a
fucked
shame.
right
What a shame.
now.
You'll listen to it and you'll be like, oh yeah, that was what I was gonna say.
Hopefully.
Should we go into it? All the stuff that
I think we're going into it.
And we'll start with the Denji and Makima date, which is like a single chapter that happens right after the end of the last arc. It like kind of bridges
So
the
let
two
me
arcs.
interrupt you already,
Yep.
EliteAri.
Go ahead.
Remember last time I was like, there's a bad Chainsaw Man has one bad moment, one epic Reddit moment, and it's in chapter 40. Turns out it was in chapter 39, and it is the date scene.
Well, what's wrong with it?
What? It's so cringe. We see 10 movies, and I don't like any of them but the one, and it's just like,
Wait, what's wrong? I honestly
feel like
don't
I'm on
understand
Reddit
what you
right
find
now.
wrong with it. I thought that was the best chapter so far, I think, maybe. It's so good. Like, just seeing these two people, you know, going on a date, and clearly, Makima is a disinterested person who doesn't care about Denji in this case. But Denji is going and he's watching all these movies with her and he's excited and he's seeing all these dumb people laughing at these jokes that aren't funny and I'm like, oh, this is so true. And it's awesome.
Ari's a Redditor.
Absolutely, I am. I guess. I hate, that's like a personal thing I talk about all the time with my friends, but I hate when I'm watching movies and people laugh in the cinema and I'm just like, why are you laughing at this? I can't handle this. But
is it because I kind of agree, but only when it's not at a funny part.
Well, it's always not at a funny part. That's the thing. They laughed at everything. Like in Marvel movies and stuff, they're laughing at the most dumbest of jokes. And I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, so I recall at the end of the Hunger Games 4th movie, my mother laughing when the cat showed up at the very end, and it's supposed to be this hyper sad moment, and it's like a jump scare, and the cat's there and it meows, and she was laughing, and then like the second later, Katniss like throws a jug at it and screams at it, "Get out!" or whatever. She's having a fucking breakdown because it's her sister's cat. I was like, that was. But I don't think that's what Chainsaw Man was going for. I think they just like, I don't think these shitty generic comedy movies are funny. I'm Redditor. That's Fujimoto, right?
I didn't get that at all. I didn't assume that anything in the movies mattered at all. I thought it was all about like Denji's experience going to a movie theater, basically. Like I didn't see it as the author commenting on anything whatsoever. Like I thought it was about like in the end where they're both crying at that one movie, right? The one meaningless movie.
Well, the art film that nobody else understands, but then Reddit soy. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I just thought that was really cool. And it's
well, firstly, everything that's cool about it we can't talk about yet because it has implications for later. Second of all, we actually can. You can talk about whatever you want, Ari.
Okay.
What was I going to say? Second of all, the most interesting part is that they both cry at the same thing. That is interesting. I think it is literally the specifics of Denji's internal monologue there that I don't like.
Oh, I thought I was going to say that's what you do like. That's the best thing, just hearing Denji's thought on this. Like, where he's watching all these movies, the first time he's crying, he doesn't want, like, he's like, why are these people, not crying, Jesus, laughing, and why are these people laughing? And then when he's crying, and he looks around, he's like, oh, I don't want anyone to see me crying. Like, it's the internal monologue that makes this so great, because it's so, once again, relatable, you know, what makes Chainsaw Man so good. And this is maybe the most I think this is the most relatable chapter in Chainsaw Man, honestly. And I love it so much.
I feel like Denji going to the theater in my brain would go so much differently. But I do
he's on a date. He wants to impress Makima. That's the thing. It's not just him going to a theater on his own, right?
The interesting thing, the counter to why I don't feel the way you feel is that Makima has like the exact same reactions, it seems, to all the movies as he does. So maybe if it was just Denji, I don't know. It might even feel out of character to Denji for me. Maybe Denji should like every movie he's ever gone to see. Nah, I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. All
right. Well, okay.
The worst thing about this chapter is Makima's shitty outfit.
Oh yeah, she died. When I first saw her, I didn't recognize her. I was like, "Is this Himeno's sister?" I thought, but no, it just turns out it was Makima. But yeah,
Makima sleeps in the office outfit. She doesn't get dressed up in cute girl clothes.
I thought it was a bit unsettling. Like when I noticed it was her, I was like, "What's going on here?" You know, I think it's done effectively. Yeah, but the real value of this chapter, I think, is in comparison to Riz, right? Like where you've got like the two different types of girls in Denji's life, right?
I need to get this fucking chapter up.
Oh, I don't remember if it was at the end, but the immediate next chapter is when he meets Riz, right?
The greatest moment in Chainsaw Man history.
Like the one girl who's like disinterested and like might be a perfect match because they're like all lining up, you know, with all their emotions and everything, but she doesn't care about you. She's not paying attention to you. And then you get like this other girl in Riz who's like probably a very good match for you, but like you don't really care for her that much. It's very interesting.
She's deceiving him like a dastardly.
Or was she, you know?
Harlot. Well, she was. She might have.
Well, I guess they both are, right? Potentially. I mean, you know more than me, but I would assume they both are.
Oh wait, I've already forgot what we were talking about. What?
You said that she's deceiving Denji, and I'm talking about Makima also deceiving Denji on the date, right?
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying Denji was deceiving her or something.
No, not at all.
But actually, this is a part we almost missed, EliteAri. But this is also the like what do you call it? The climax, the finale of the Denji wondering if he still has human emotions meme because he cries in the theater. Because the whole build up is he's kind of not reacting to things, and initially he thinks it might be because what Katana Man said was correct and that he doesn't have human feelings anymore. But then. And Makima puts her head on his chest. He freaks out, and yes, he seems to just he's a person. He's a devil man. Can you believe it? A devil and man.
He is. And then that's like the setup for the best joke, right? With he has a heart, so he can donate to charity, and he has a heart, so he can eat this flower, and like it's just great.
Oh yes, he's a great guy.
Just going on a rampage, doing all these things because he has a heart.
The best gag on this chapter now. I need to get out of these chapters because I will go page by page with gags.
Oh boy,
if I keep this up. But the fucking beam just following around because he can swim through the floor and his shark fin is always everywhere. It's fucking great. And Denji having to be like the older brother because if this is actually set up earlier because Power is like the smartest fiend of all, and clearly Beam is. A little lower IQ, and he doesn't speak totally correctly and everything like that. This fucking violence devil seems pretty smart too. I mean, fiend, very important distinctions.
Of course.
But yeah, Denji having to be the straight man is like a great little comedy meme. Everything with Beam is great.
Yeah, and then it gets inverted as well when he's like
Yeah.
telling him about the chains or the chains that he throws, and he's like, "Is this what you were talking about?" And Beam's like, "Oh yeah, of course, this is what I was talking about."
Because he rides the fucking shark.
Yep.
In a chapter called Sharknado. What a time to be alive.
Yep.
Um,
I guess it's
but,
important that I point out personally, because based on the last video, this is a lot funnier, this stuff. Like I
Yeah,
can
you
definitely
think so?
see why you see Chainsaw Man as a comedy now. It's a lot clearer. And I guess I also see, with like, I remember you pointing out how it's like, unpretentiously pretentious or whatever. And I really got that from the Reese arc specifically, where it's like all this goofy,
Yeah.
like ridiculous stuff is happening, but underneath it all are these like very grounded characters who, like are persisting through all this goofiness. It's interesting. I kind of understand your perspective from last episode a lot better. But yeah.
So I was right the whole time.
No, you just had more context than me, I would say. Yeah.
The Oh, you can't talk about this. The greatest joke in all of Chainsaw Man is him in the bar screaming, "Union jobs, tap, tap, tap,
Oh my
paid days
God.
off."
You
And
love
you
that,
missed
don't
it
you?
and didn't think it was funny.
No.
Actually, the anime just fucking cut it. What a bunch of cows.
Yeah, true. All right.
These
Anyway.
fucking idiots naked in the bath, being annoying. Hilarious.
Yes, I know. Chainsaw Man.
There was
so
something
fun.
I wanted to point out here, but I already forgot, so we'll just move on.
So should we go through the arc?
Hold on, I
yeah,
found
go
it.
ahead.
This
go ahead.
fucking it starts raining, which is how he ends up in the phone booth with Reese. But fucking Shark Boy in the rain, just like being scared that water is raining, is great.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Water is.
There's
raining?
when it starts raining, Beam is like gets out and
Yeah.
it starts raining. And he tries to put his hand up to like shield himself from the rain, and then he goes ack. So Shark Devil doesn't like water. Hilarious
Wow.
joke.
That's crazy.
I'm closing the chapter, Ari. We
All
can't
right,
continue
good.
like this.
We have a lot to talk about.
We meet this Reese bitch. Oh, the greatest
Whoa,
joke in
the-
Chainsaw Man is
Another
the bit at the end of the chapter. I'm reopening the tab, where Denji starts freaking out because this whole chapter, the whole beginning, is about how much he loves Makima and how much life is great because he loves Makima. And then this girl says 3 words to him, and then he realizes that she's flirting with him. And he goes, "Oh crap, I like people who like me. Help me, Makima. I'm gonna fall for this chick."
Yep.
Denji realizing that he likes people who likes him is a great realization. And I think a realization that everybody has, especially when they're like really young and they sort of have eyes for one girl or boy or anything, it doesn't matter. And then like for 1 second you slip and you talk to one other girl because you're a 16-year-old and you don't talk to girls very often, and you're like, "Oh, never mind. I just like girls." And it's such a great realization, especially how it's embodied here. And it's sort of taken up to 11 because Denji's so goofy and the dumb fucking face he's making here as he's like screaming out for Makima, which becomes a reoccurring gag for Makima to save him from what his body wants. It's just incredible.
How
stuff.
relatable, Kyle.
Yes, I guess relatability or something as our reason.
Yes. Okay. So then, out of these 2 girls, Kyle, which one would you choose, Makima or Reese? If you were Denji.
Oh,
who would you-
Makima in a heartbeat.
Jesus, I went the
but,
complete opposite. I would choose Reese in a heartbeat. Absolutely, you know. She's a nice, sweet person. Obviously, they're both manipulating him, but like, if she was genuine in her beliefs, I think it's clearly she shows more interest than I would like someone, you know, who is very interested. So
Yeah, but all the interest is fake initially. I think part of the arc is that she's maybe she even likes some bit of Denji at the end.
At the end, she's like, "I didn't go to
hate
school
about
either."
You, EliteAri, because this is the plot of that movie. One day on movie
boy.
night, it's one of our what do you call this old prick that writes stories? Shakespeare one.
Oh yeah.
Because it's based off a Shakespeare play. But it's about the dude is sort of given he's told by his friends, like, "I'll give you $20 if you go and date this girl over here and make her think that she likes you or whatever." And so he goes to trick her, but then they actually fall in love, Ari. Oh my goodness. But then she finds out that initially it was a bet and to make fun of her, and they got to navigate through this.
Oh, what a classic story. I wonder if Fujimoto has seen that movie. What do you think?
He absolutely has. Greatest movie of all time. He had drama class and he had to watch it in grade 9 just like me. But I think that is sort of the thing that's going on here. And maybe initially they would have hit it off, but because there was an extra context. Now, obviously, this is a bit more extra context than just dickhead gave him $20 to do this. She's got to kill him because he's a Russian child slave. Terrible stuff. which I
Yeah.
had all completely forgotten about.
Oh my god.
But this
She
race
speaks
stuff
Russian,
does.
Kyle.
Yes, yes, she does speak Russian. Don't worry, I remember that part, but I
All
forgot
right.
that she was actually a military whatever.
Yeah.
Um, the there is some criticism of this arc, and by criticism I mean best guy ever Nate said this on the content episode in which I got all of my Chainsaw Man takes from,
All right.
where he complained about how this is a little generic, a little done a million times before, which I do feel a little bit. Um,
Wait, more so than any other arc in the Chainsaw Man?
Yes, I feel
Interesting.
like everybody's like Chainsaw Man is so unique, and this is the one that sort of gets hit on a little bit for being the least unique.
So
I
you
still
don't
think,
think like Darkness and Hell and all that is like similar to, I don't know.
well,
I've only seen
obviously
Berserk,
Hell's
but to
been in
me
a
it's
bunch of stories, but
yeah.
it's like a very particular Man way of doing it. Which I would say this is all done in that similar vein as well.
Mm.
Plus, it's so short. I remembered it being a lot longer than it is. It's like 12 chapters
Yeah,
or
true.
something. All the arcs in Chainsaw Man are shorter than I remembered. But yeah, I like this arc anyway. So,
Thank God. All right. Well,
but yes, I'm closing the fucking chapter.
okay. Should I go through chronologically decently? I don't know.
I guess yes, guys.
My
Through you
first
want.
thing, I guess initially when Reese meets Denji, she kind of, for her part of her plan, she questions
Ari, I
him being in
remember why
public
we were talking
safety.
about this because you asked
Wait,
which
about what?
one you would like more. So we should probably
Oh,
explore
yes.
that more because you were going to go into why you liked Reese more. Oh,
But
you
I
were
think I
talking about
explained it. She's just a nice person. Or not nice, she's interested. That's the thing.
but then I said she's not interested. But in the end,
Yeah,
she
but
kind of is retroactively interested.
yeah. So I'd go with that. You know, she's retroactively interested, so I like her. And she's neat. Why do you like Makima?
Well,
Hmm.
I had a joke response, but it's kind of a spoiler, so I
Oh
stopped
boy.
myself.
Alright, fair enough, fair
Um,
enough.
Markham is just the hottest. And this fucking little kawaii girl that are all you internet simps like, not cool. I like successful business women.
What about
From
the
the
bomb
real world,
girl?
like Makima.
Hmm.
That's my I don't know. There's just it is interesting and very intentional, I think, that the two girls that are into Denji, he doesn't sort of understand. Well, I guess he doesn't. He does end up understanding pretty directly that Reese is fucking with him. He's still kind of working it out with Makima.
Yep.
They're not exactly ideal, healthy candidates for Denji, either of them, which is kind of part of the point, I think.
Yes.
So yeah, they're both terrible choices, is what I'm saying, Ari. But Makima's hotter, dude.
Okay. I guess maybe. I guess that Reese is drawn in a more sexualized manner in this arc, which kind of like biases me towards her in that way, I guess, you know. Like we haven't seen Makima in any kind of
There is nothing more sexual than Makima in her business outfit. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, fair enough. All right. I understand.
I defeated that point.
But we are moving on, Kyle, all right?
Indeed.
To one of the first things that Reese says to Denji, which is that being in public safety is probably what's not best for him, or not. What am I saying? Is not what's best for him. Which made me, as a reader, kind of question it, like very effectively, because like he is only there because that was the first place that offered him something. But he's basically a prisoner, right? He can't leave. He's getting food and housing, which is what everyone in the world gets. Like it's not like he hasn't received anything really. Like a normal person has his life and isn't a prisoner. So like there's a lot of other things he should be doing. Like should he really be grateful for his current life? I don't know.
Yeah.
Which made that was the first thing. I never questioned it up until this point. I was like, oh, I'm so glad that he got this great opportunity and he gets to live a life, but it's not really great at all.
I feel like I remember having a very similar moment the first time through where you sort of do have this realization that actually this isn't that much different, or, well, it is better, but it's not that much different from the situation he was in chapter 1.
Yeah.
Or he's not allowed to run away. Something bigger than him will hunt him down, so running isn't really an option, and he's sort of forced to do work and basically hunt devils. And it is great though, and this is something I'd completely forgotten. And they get into this more with the school thing, where Denji's never been to school, and so he's slowly learning like what all of these things are. That at the end, Race sort of has this moment where she's like, "Yeah, all those things were true for me too." So initially, Race is supposed to be like the normal one, and to juxtapose Denji, but then you get the recontextualization that she was just like him, and they are just like each other. It's a great little twist.
Yeah.
But yeah, she just wanted to go to school too, EliteAri.
I know.
I hate Reese. I can't be getting sad.
Um, yeah. Well, they have an interesting dynamic. Like particularly early on, it was interesting how childish Denji seemed around her, I guess. Like she was making like, she was like writing up bad words or something. He would like giggle at it and be like, oh, you shouldn't do that, you know?
Yeah.
Like it brought out an interesting side of Denji that I hadn't really seen yet. Like he's never serious, but he's never really childish, I guess, like that, where his immaturity kind of shows. But it was interesting. But then we get the question that is raised, which is, do you want to be a town mouse or a country mouse?
Yeah.
Which was brought up by both the Angel Devil and by Reese, which was interesting. Parallel.
We do have to remember to bring up the Angel Devil and Aki's relationship that is developed initially in these chapters too. So we shouldn't forget about that. Also, the mouse thing was mentioned last time and in the anime. Do you remember when, Elite?
Yeah. Well, I remember because Miller brought it up to me. But it was brought up in...
Fucking spoiling Miller.
Yeah, it was brought up in, what's his name's, Aki's flashback, right, with his parents.
Yes. It's the book that was being read to his younger brother by the parents. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. But it is strange how it is repeating throughout the narrative. I don't know what the significance is.
It's based...
I guess I kind of get the significance. I don't know why it is so important, I guess, but like the idea is that you've got like the country mouse who gets safety, but they don't get like the luxuries or whatever. And you got the city mouse or the town mouse or whatever. The opposite of the country mouse, which gets the luxuries but lives in danger.
It's like a risk. It's like a risk versus reward of like, do you want to take a chance and go live in a big city and succeed and potentially get killed,
which is Denji.
Do you want to go live in the country and have a comfortable life, but you're never going to want
the
to
angel.
Much.
Yeah.
Is Denji a city? He's kind of forced.
Well, he says it, right?
City. Does he?
Yeah, he says he'd choose the city.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Well, I guess it's because he's in the city right now, huh?
Well, he likes his current life. Yeah, he'd probably stick to it. But yeah, I don't have much to say. It's just, it was interesting that it came up and they...
Yeah, because Makima ends up saying that she prefers the country mouse too, right?
Yeah, but her explanation for it is weird, and I don't know if I understood it. Like, the way I took it is, she gives like a story about how she knows someone in the country, and they find all these mice that they have to kill, and then they like dig up the dirt and get the dogs to kill them. And to me, and then she says, "Oh, that's why I like the country mouse." And to me, it sounds like she likes the country mouse because they're easier to kill or something. Like they hide away, and I can easily kill them. So it doesn't seem like she wants to be a country mouse. It sounds like she likes the country mice because they're easier to do something to. Or something like that.
Well, it's kind of like a tease of like, well, it's time for us to kill you, and then the devils that seem to be under her control are the dogs in this situation.
Yeah.
Is there somebody in the narrative that's likened to a dog a lot, EliteAri?
Aki.
Put my finger on it.
He has a fox devil, right?
Well,
I'm kidding, Denji. Yeah, I know.
Okay. But yeah. So
yeah, every time a dog is brought up, I think, okay, I substitute Denji into this sentence. Does it make sense? Yeah.
It is interesting though, because the angel devil is the dog in that scenario, when he particularly didn't bring Aki along.
The angel devil is the dog in that scenario. Oh, yeah, I guess, yeah. He's the one who kills Reese. Yeah.
Well, I think Mark lands the final blow. I think something happens.
Yeah.
He's there.
It's an interesting dynamic to have the angel devil there, seeing Makima use abilities and not be blindfolded. Like, I don't know if that's like a significant thing or not, but that was strange. Yeah. Anyway, when Denji closes his eyes, he sees two girls now. They briefly talked about that, but I have like a related thing to that, which is like kind of unrelated, but kind of related, which is when I play chess a lot, like online chess, when I close my eyes, I see chess moves, and it really annoys me. Can you relate to anything like that? Like if you do a lot of something and you close your eyes and you'll like see it when you're like daydreaming or whatever, and you can't control it, and it's like really annoying. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
Not really. I feel like I'm controlling it most of the time.
Anyway, that's just what made me think of it when he closes his eyes and he sees two girls. But anyway, what else? Should we talk about the Russian translation thing? Like, what's going on there? You know, it was written in Russian. Are we intended to translate it, or like,
no.
It's an interesting thing, you know?
There's actually a few things about this. First, I got a story, then I got a chapter thing. That was one of the first things I ever saw from Chainsaw Man because it was in the Oceans video Form is Content that I think I've tried to shill to you like 3 times.
All right.
It was the first Oceans video I ever watched, and I think it might be the only good Oceans video, Lamau. That's a bit, I was throwing a bit of shade there, EliteAri. I don't know if I intended to throw that much.
Yep.
I'm sure I've seen other good Oceans video, but it featured Attack on Titan, Naruto a little bit, where it was sort of talking about not Chainsaw Man, but how in manga panels you can sort of use the form of manga as content. And one of the ways, and it sort of results in these sort of meta moments. What the fuck was the Attack on Titan example? Because I can't remember. But obviously Chainsaw Man has a million of these. The thingies coming outside the frame, the Darkness Devil, and that one thing that I showed you. Like I showed you it, you read it, but one of the panels I chose where like the limbs made the panels instead of actually having panels. Oh, and one of the interesting ways to do it, and ones that you almost always take for granted, is language, because it's not spoken, it's just written. You sort of are lost in those moments. You're just as lost. It sort of reflects what you're supposed to feel in the narrative because, oh no, it's the big moment where Reese turns and then she starts speaking Japanese. Not Japanese. She stops speaking Japanese, assumingly. Starts speaking Russian. So that's the story. So that's crazy. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool idea in and of itself. But the name of that chapter is called Jane Fell Asleep in the Church, which is apparently a Russian song. So she's actually singing, not saying anything there.
That's what I assumed.
She's singing some crazy song.
Yeah, there was like a little music note. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes, that's right. I missed that the first time, but yes, when I went back and I'm like, oh, that's neat that they put that there. I should have figured it out the first time through. But we didn't even bring up the Typhoon bloke. Well, I guess he wasn't the Typhoon Devil. He was just a human with a contract with the Typhoon Devil. And Typhoon Devil would show up later.
Wait. Oh, wait. Well, who? Oh, the random guy okay, the assassin guy. I thought you were talking about the Typhoon Devil because he shows up in that little like sink or something initially. I was like, oh, that's neat.
Yeah,
cute little sink guy. Yeah.
That reminded me of some comic thing. It might be an old Spider-Man 90s cartoon thing because Eddie Brock does talk to himself a lot in really cool ways in that show. And then Venom comes in through the shadow and takes over his body. God, what a cartoon television program. But it reminded me of that or something cartoony. Not in a bad way, but as in literal. It reminded me of something in a cartoon. Never mind, you understand. But he kind of gets set up as a potential antagonist, and he's going to raise his leverage against Denji. But he's in for a surprise. And also a neat little bit of, what do you call it when something's implied? Implication, I think. Is that the Typhoon Devil is familiar with Russia, or at least Russian in some sense, because he knows who Lady Reese is.
This will lead to some speculation, I'm sure.
Yes.
It's interesting. What an interesting relationship. And he has a relationship with the Gun Devil as well, it seems, potentially.
Also, it's not Russia, EliteAri, it's the Soviet Union.
True, sorry. Remember. Well, you apologize. I didn't make that mistake, right?
That was a joke. I was correcting myself for blaming you. Right. It's one of my classics.
I understand. Okay. Well, we did it. We talked about it.
Yeah.
What else is there? Yeah, Russian's cool.
All right, hold on. I guess I have a little one of my famous I want to know what Ari was thinking as he was reading it the first time moments.
Yep.
How long did it take you to figure out that Race was not what she seemed? Was it like immediately? Like there's no way.
Yeah, immediately. Yeah. But mainly because of the anime, I think. Because at the end of the anime, she like knows Denji.
Oh
or
yeah.
Like she says, "Oh, Denji-kun" or something, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." So she knows who he is. And initially, she makes like a joke about like, "Oh, your face reminds me of my dead dog or something." I'm like, "Oh, dog, that's Denji." You know, something's going on here.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that she was like a devil or like a evil or anything. I just thought that she knows about Denji at least. But yeah, interesting.
Okay. The So how much of it was a surprise when she choked this dude out? Was that a relative
crazy
surprise?
Yeah, no, that was a big surprise. I thought she so initially I guess I thought, okay, she's not what she seems. She obviously knows Denji. And then they go to the school or whatever. And the guy shows up and she's like going to the bathroom or whatever. And I thought she was just gonna die there. Or like she'd get kidnapped and then we'd get an explanation of like who she is. I had no idea that she was gonna fight back at him. I mean, when she like grabs him from the back and like chokes him out, I think that's like a really cool, a very effective way of like drawing her, where it's like she just is very disconnected from reality, and it's like she's like choking him and not looking. She's like her eyes are dead or something. It's really well done. I like that panel a lot. That was a candidate.
Crazy assassin
favorite. Yeah.
Yes. Then we get the kisses probably next, right?
What, the tongue biting kiss? The crazy
Yes. Denji
what a
does not have
kiss.
good luck with these kisses. Can you believe it?
Oh yeah, true. I didn't even pick. Yeah, I guess yeah, true.
Another very famous Chainsaw Man panel around the time that was posted everywhere was the cute girl doing the what's that fucking face called? A Lego face, but she has a tongue on her because she bit it off. That was a
Love it.
semi-viral meme at the time. Crazy.
Yep. Then she bites the tongue and then she fights basically, and there's just a bunch of action here where like she fights a Division 2, and we get this new like Aki's friend or like subordinate or something. The
His former like teacher. Yeah,
former
something
teacher.
like
Is that what it was? Okay.
But you're skipping over Beam's great save. But yes.
True. Yeah, he just comes out of nowhere and saved Lord Chainsaw or whatever.
Yes, Lord Chainsaw, which is an implication. There is some implication there.
No, it's just a funny thing he says.
Yeah, climax of the arc would beg to differ. But also, we should probably talk about Reese's fucking power. She fucking explodes herself, and her choker thing has her
Bomb Devil.
Yeah, where Denji has it on his chest, it's around her choker.
Yep, it's neat.
I guess the choker's around that.
She chucks her head at one point, and it's awesome.
Oh yes, chucking her head and then it explodes. Crazy stuff. Her face is crazy too.
Yeah, it looks like an alien from Aliens. It's really cool.
Yeah. It reminds me of something else, but I can't place it. But
Yep.
Yes, then a really cool part of this arc is that they like show up at like a training camp. Is Aki initially boxing or is it somebody else? I think it is Aki.
I think he is, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like cool that he has like a bunch of colleagues and stuff, and one of these dudes gets exploded like 3 times, and then at some point she comes out and she's got them decapitated, and Aki's like, "You sicko."
Yep. And then the guy loses his arm or whatever. Like you think he's dead, but he's alive. And I'm like, oh, this man. Man, what a guy.
Because they're supposed to be pretty strong. It's So it's good little world building thing that they're consistently putting up a little bit of a fight. Now some of the cool devil powers here, and I am scrolling through Ari, is because they point at her and be like, "You've got, what do they call it, mold or something on your heart," and she starts bleeding out.
Terrifying.
Sadly,
and you can't do anything.
Herself.
Yeah, except for that. She's very lucky. That's her power.
Yeah, she's immortal, just like this fucking Denji prick. Yeah, but also a bunch of them have the Fox Devil, which is consistent throughout. Fox Devil likes humans,
this might have the best Fox Devil panel with like the big like long shot where it's like right in that guy's face. I thought that looked really cool. You know the one I'm talking about?
I'm not sure I know the one.
It's like when it basically eats Reese. I don't know. Essentially, it's great. Maybe I'll put it up on screen. Yeah. Maybe I won't.
Fucking sick.
Sick stuff. That's it. And then the fight starts. The Violence Fiend does his greatest kick and then runs away with Kobeni, and that was the hypest thing ever.
There's a great gag back here where he's like, "Oh, I was supposed to go to a singles meetup tonight, but then he dies." Crazy.
Yeah. What a poor guy.
They have lives outside of this. Can you believe it?
So relatable, right?
Perhaps. The Violence Devil gag is so good where he's just like half behind the door and he's like, "Don't mind me, I'll show myself out."
I love the Violence Devil. I was expecting him, like when I first saw him in the anime, I thought he'd be this really cool, like unstoppable, like force or something, basically. Like a pure fighter, like Kishibe or something, but he's not. He's nothing like that, and I love it. He'd be, like, we haven't done, like, I don't know if we will do, like, favorite characters or whatever, but he'd be in the top 3, undoubtedly. I love him in every scene.
Top 3, come
easily.
Down.
Yeah. No, I love him. Every time I see him, I get so excited, Kyle, right?
You've forgotten about Power already.
Yeah, definitely. He's my favorite fiend. But
oh my goodness.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh my goodness.
So, should we move on to something that I've classified as the Denji heart symbolism payoff, which is the one line he gives about, like, everyone is after my chainsaw heart, but what about my heart? Does no one want that? And to me, like last time I was talking about, like, okay, so Pochita is his heart, like a devil is his heart. Is there any symbolism there? And to me, if this is all we ever get, and it's just like, that whole point of that was to set up this, where it's like everyone wants Denji for not being himself. Like no one wants him for what he is. I'm fine with that. Like I thought this was really great. Very effective. Because is there really anyone, I guess? Yeah, I guess you can't say anything. But as far as I understand now, no one really cares about Denji except for maybe Power. for being himself. So it is interesting. So I like it. Good stuff. What a payoff, potentially.
Crazy.
Anyway, Chainsaw Man fights Bomb Girl. But what's her name? Like, what do people call her? I would assume because she's like Denji, so and she's a bomb. So would it be like Bomb Girl? You know, like Chainsaw Man. Like, what's like a common name for her? Do you know?
I feel like they have a name for her at some point that has bomb in it.
Like in the manga.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember. I know. What's his name? Beam calls her Bomb, just like straight up.
Yeah, maybe. But he like knows who she is, and there actually is a reoccurring thing that Beam knows a lot more. Because she's like, I'm not allowed to tell. Makima told me not to tell, and then he like accidentally drops that Makima told him not to say something.
There is also the one guy who also knows who she is. I don't know if I could find the line, but he said something like, "Oh, it can't be her." Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
she seems to be a little bit
mean?
famous. Like, it seems like they know that the Russians have a Chainsaw Man equivalent.
Yeah,
she seems like she's at least famous.
Like they must have run into her before or something.
I think especially later with the assassin stuff, like everybody kind of knows other countries' like best weapons or what they're capable of. Like everybody knows who Makima is, it seems. Yeah. And now everybody knows the chainsaw is in Japan. So yeah.
All right. Now in this fight, we have maybe the best fighting gag I've seen so far.
Is it Aki?
It is. It's Aki just hiding in the dead bodies. And you see him, and you like kind of is that Aki? Then he just pops up and chops her arm off. And I thought it was so funny and so great.
He's got the dumbest look on his face the whole fucking time. It's great. Yes.
Yeah, hiding amongst the bodies. What a guy.
This is a Berserk meme, but Guts wasn't doing it as a gag. He was just hiding under the bodies somehow, and I'm sure it's in a million other things too. But this way,
but Aki, the serious guy, like he's doing an unintentional joke. It's just
and
so
it's funny. Because, again, this is reiterated upon in the next arc with the Darkness Devil especially, but Aki is just, like, so out of his depth in terms of fighting.
Yeah, he's the odd one out there, you know? I guess he does have this future side a little bit.
Yeah, he would have killed the Katana dude if the Katana dude could have died. It cost him, like, a bunch of years of his life because he had to use the sword. But he was that powerful, but increasingly it's like... And this obviously gets into his whole thing about the Gun Devil, who is presumably stronger than Reese, but explicitly not as strong as the Darkness Devil.
Yep.
It's like he probably doesn't stand a chance. Which Tendo, I think, was his name. I completely forgot that they came back. But yes.
Wait, who came back?
Making fun of him. Tendo, he's in like season 1. He like is from Kyoto, remember?
Oh, yes.
And at the beginning of the Assassin's Arc, but then they get killed off and impersonated, and then hit by a car. Crazy. Stuff.
I was gonna say, we never talked last time about Aki's death, so we have to remember to talk about that in the speculation.
I feel like in speculation, you definitely talked about that.
No, I didn't bring it up at all.
I definitely asked you that question.
So what was my answer? If you remember my
I
answer.
have no idea.
I didn't give one.
Because I remember it was one of my notes, and I remember it was one of the questions. So I must have asked the question, and we got lost in the other one.
Yeah, we did. We talked about the Gun Devil or something. So yeah, we'll talk about that. I honestly don't know. But
there is a point here where Denji is literally just like a chainsaw with like no torso and no arms because he's being exploded so much.
And I guess this is kind of a criticism, but which I don't like doing. But in the season 1 stuff, like the first arc here, it gets brought up that by Kishibe, and he's like giving this big warning about how like, if the 4 like fiends in the Division 4 get loose, they're gonna demolish the whole city or whatever. And then the next time we see them in this arc, they're like nothing. Like they're not powerful at all. They're purely like fodder in this fight.
I remember I had an explanation for this, or it was like, actually, that's what he was doing that scene, but I can't remember it now because it is true. Like if Beam got out, like I don't know, he would chomp like maybe like 20
someone could
people.
stop him quickly. Yeah, like Aki could probably stop him. Honestly, like it's not too big of a thing.
I guess if the Violence Devil escaped and his helmet off, it would fuck up a lot of people. Spider is kind of crazy, but we'll talk about that later. What was the other one? I guess the Angel one could fuck some people up. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just a comparison now. In this fight, they don't do anything. And it's like, you'd think you'd set it up for them to be more powerful, but then it's just not. Minor criticism, you know? So, what does Beam know? Because Beam knows that Chainsaw throws his chains Um,
It's
and it's
he's
interesting.
he implies that like Lord Chainsaw used to always do this.
Yeah, it's like he
And
knew
it's like,
him. I don't know when. I have no idea when. It did.
previous
Previously,
Chainsaw Man
yes,
sort of
but
thing.
I don't know. We'll have to talk about that later. But just point that out. And
Who
then,
was out there doing stuff, I guess.
yep. But I guess we already talked about the gag, but like just him riding Beam and that whole
It's
thing where
great.
he's just telling him like, "Oh, you used to throw your chainsaws," and Denji's like, "Oh, I guess I could throw my chainsaws," and Beam's like, "Oh, you're a genius,
It's
chainsaw."
like he's gonna do the Spider-Man thing, and then he doesn't do it because he wants to
Yeah,
ride the fucking shark.
an
Uh,
excellent
and
subversion.
it's
And then Beam praises him for it. He's like, "Yeah, of course, this is what I meant."
yeah, it's
It's perfect.
way smarter. And because the Angel Devil's freaking out, don't do it. But it's also, and I feel like I didn't understand this the first time that Beam can like swim through surfaces. Because I
Mm.
remember being like, how is the shark in the air? I remember that
Yeah.
being a thing I kept thinking the first time, but it totally makes sense this time.
Yes. Well, Angel Devil. Which maybe there's an explanation for this and I missed it, or maybe it'll be revealed later. But they get this weird flash of someone near a boat, and they like
Yes.
have like a scar or something on their head. And I'm like, I don't know what this is. Like, is it firstly just say, is it something I missed, or is it like, am I meant to
No,
understand
no,
this? Or?
he had
Okay,
a brief flashback, and it reminded him of something.
okay, because I assumed it was. I would assume it's someone from his village that he killed, but I have no idea. But it was unsettling to see. I was like, oh, this is a strange place for this flashback. It kind of scary, I guess. But
It's when
yep.
I think he thinks he's gonna die because he thinks he's
Yeah,
gonna get swept up in the typhoon. But then Aki grabs his hand and reduces his lifespan by another 2 months.
poor Aki. Yeah. But yeah, they have a
Because
relationship. Their relationship has developed.
initially Aki did not like Angel. Uh,
Well, he didn't like any devils, right?
yes,
Especially him because he just doesn't do anything.
and Angel would continuously say, "I would rather die than do work or whatever."
Yep,
But yes, also everybody loves to ship them together, so that's cute.
yep. It's understandable, they have a lot of screen
They
time
grabbed
together.
hands.
They
The
did.
anime did lean
Um,
into it by having them have the foreground romantic moment in the background while the violence was going on. They
what a
know
good
what they're
anime.
doing.
Yep, true. All the choices are intentional in the anime. I agree. So then the fight basically resolves with Denji wrapping his chains around Reese, and they jump into the water, and it's really
Yeah.
cool. Um,
Well, she was kicking their asses even after we decided to ride the shark. The shark gets torched, and then
yeah,
Denji's big brained maneuver is that she can't explode underwater if she's wet.
yeah, it's
Uh,
genius.
and it
But then yeah, they
works.
go under. They're like parallel. They're like I don't know. They hit the bottom of the ocean basically, and they're like on top of each other, And then they have the flashback to them like swimming in the pool. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this is cute. This is great. Um,
There is an interesting implication here that she's like, "Why did you bring me back?" or whatever. So it implies that if she was left at the bottom of the ocean, she wouldn't have been able to revive, and she would be like dead, I guess, until somebody retrieved her. But it is
yeah,
interesting.
it is. I just dismissed it. I'm like, okay, whatever. But yeah, I guess it is a weird implication. Especially because he was down there with her. Like, why is he not gonna like? Why is she dead and he's not? But I
Because
don't
he's
know.
got big man lungs and he lasted a little bit longer.
Maybe. All right.
Explained with facts and logic.
Or maybe chainsaw is stronger than bomb or something. I don't know.
Or is the implication that the fucking shark got him out? Because he's right here when they wash up on the beach.
Well, then she'd be thanking Beam, right, instead of
Well, no,
Denji.
Beam would have revived Denji and left her
Oh,
dead,
and
and
then
then Denji wakes up and
yeah,
then
yeah,
revives her.
maybe. I'll allow that. That's fine.
Well, he should be on top of the building over here cooked, but he's down here, so I'm going to say that is what happened.
All right, good. So, then Reese leaves, and
After she
no,
breaks his neck.
yeah, she breaks his neck. She's like, I never liked you. I was deceiving you the whole time. But after all that, she still taught him how to swim, so she still had an impact on him. It's cute.
Well, it is cute because she didn't have to teach him how to swim. That didn't help her really at all. It was kind of actually something she just did for him because maybe
Yeah,
she was having fun.
which is then comes back at the end when he takes her for a swim.
Yes.
It's cute. I like it. That's parallel stuff, which is great. And she laughs a lot at the end of this fight. Like she's not a very like at the end she starts off a bit serious, but at the end she's like laughing at the ridiculous stuff Denji's doing with like Beam and stuff. I like it.
And it is interesting. There's a bunch of interesting things here at the end specifically. She brings up that like you'll be like an accessory or abetting a murderer or whatever. And it's basically again another like a moral decision where Denji is put in and chooses like the immoral action, sort of out of selfishness, where he's like, no, I would just be with this crazy hyper murderer girl, because he does pack his bag to leave. We see that when he leaves Meowie in the apartment and gets his bag ready. And I assume this is like money that he's taking with him. He's ready to try and run away with her. Because at the end, she's like, I'll be at the cafe tomorrow, even after she says, no, Lamau, I hate you. So yeah, that is a very interesting... I'd forgotten about that too, that Denji would have left in this moment. What about Power, you fucking prick?
What about her? She doesn't do anything.
You can't leave Power behind. She's better than
I thought you were talking to me. Okay. True.
Well, I was screaming, what about Power to you when you were trying to say the Violence Fiend is your favorite fiend.
Yeah, true. I stand by that still. But I guess she doesn't leave. Well, I guess it's a bit unclear. In the way I saw it, she looks like she's going to get on the train and then she doesn't, right? Or did you take it as she gets on and then she didn't
get on the train to leave and then she starts... And because if you look, it is this, like at the very beginning of the arc when Denji finds himself at the cafe, it's the same like background shots of like this scenery. So because she walks past the phone booth.
Oh, okay.
And up the stairs and right in the alleyway, and she's looking over at the cafe and Makima gets
a bunch of rats. I don't know what the hell happens. What's going on with Makima? The rats turn into her or something.
Well, they kind of explain that later, where it's announced that she uses small creatures to listen to people. But we'll talk about Makima.
Well, I think there's a difference between listening and then actually teleporting using these animals. You know, that's a bit of a big difference.
She teleports using something else later, but that's between dimensions.
Yeah, true.
Oh, I didn't even notice. Reese gets handed a flower too by the same girl as she's walking along.
True.
Oh, and the flower reminds her of Denji because she holds onto it because he ate it. Remember, classic joke.
Yep.
Reese sucks. What am I talking about here? My goodness.
Yep. And then she dies. And that's... Oh, I think I kind of like the when Denji's alone in the cafe. And that one guy who like has been annoyed the whole time, like the cafe owner, is like, "Oh, you know, don't worry, there will be someone for you one day. Don't worry." I'm like, "Oh, this guy's a nice guy."
Reese and the boss's relationship is funny, and I do like that.
Yeah, he turns around
like,
at the end.
We don't get any customers anyway. Shut the fuck up, old man.
Yep.
Dock your pay.
And then Power returns, and then I wrote like, why is she not in this arc at all? And I just didn't understand. It was weird. But yeah, you explained it. You know, we're gonna get Beam and other things as well.
It's great that she wants the flowers, because it is interesting, because Power is very much not a romantic interest for Denji. They very much have like a brother-sister relationship, and because right before it, he's like, you'll have somebody perfect for you will show up eventually, and the door creaks open, he turns around, it's fucking Power. Now, the implication could be, for a very similar moment, that like, oh, you're obviously in love with the goofy girl that you live with. But that's not really the implication at all.
Yeah.
Because she announces herself. God, she's the best fiend, Ari.
She's very... I like her. She might be the best girl. Best fiend? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But then there's Kobeni too. I like Kobeni a lot. I don't know. Okay, we'll think about this later. But that's the end of the arc. By the way. Except I don't remember if this is part of this arc or not, but there was a really cool detail that I liked and shows that Fujimoto has a cat, which is that Meowie sleeps with Denji now. Even now that Power is back, and it's like this thing where it's like if a cat just gets used to something, they're just going to keep doing it. I love that detail so much.
It's the very next chapter, but yes, the next chapter, because every time an arc ends, we have to do this. It shows Denji having the dream again.
Well, I assumed it was because this whole arc was going to be about the dream or something, but I guess it wasn't really.
No.
Unless it was, I don't know.
I don't think it was.
Anyway, so this big arc, it all starts because the chainsaw secret is out. Everyone knows that Denji is, or not, they don't know Denji, I guess, but they know that the chainsaw devil is in Japan. And what was funny was how in the like television thing or whatever, they're talking about like all the people that they've got evidence from, and they talk about that one guy that Denji threw in the car, and it's like the prototypical guy. Like we've brought him up. He's like the one example of the like guy that Denji just didn't care about, and he's just never done that for anything else except for that one guy. And I just found it so funny. It's like the example of his immorality, like the one case of it.
It's very Spider-Man-esque of like, does he do good things? Does he do bad things on the news? But well, firstly, before this, they basically announced that we're all going on a trip to... Starts with an
Inoshima or something, right?
Yeah, Inoshima or something.
Yeah, some Japanese place.
Very dramatically interrupted by every important suit-wearing member of the public safety breaking in and being like, we got a problem. Now, if you recall, Makima already predicted this. She was like, she said to like the bigwigs in one scene in season 1 even, that she's like, soon Denji will be public and then we'll be able to do more or something.
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, it is a scene because I was like, interesting when I reread.
I remember 2 scenes with the big people. Like one was about the Soviet Warhawks or whatever, and the second one was when she was meeting with the boss at the end, I think, or something.
Yeah, there was something about not getting too attached or whatever. Yeah.
Anyway, crazy. Power is back in this arc and she's great. Her and Denji might be the best. Well, I guess duo. I like Kobeni and the Violence Fiend are probably my favorite. But Power and Denji are also pretty amazing as a duo.
Can you believe you just said that, chat? I don't.
Surely there's people who like, do you know in the fandom or whatever, is like the Violence and Kobeni, do people like that a lot? Does Miller like them?
People really like Kobeni.
Okay, good. Yeah.
People like the Violence theme enough, I guess.
Very cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, Power, talking about this holiday, she's like, she has so many great things. Like she talks about how, what is it? She has an urgent meeting that day or something, so she can't go.
And then she tries to brag about having a beach house.
Yeah, she's like, I have a beach house. Yeah. Oh man, I love Power. What a funny manga, Kyle. Am I right?
Crazy. It's pretty funny.
What a comedy series.
There's an interesting part here because we'll probably brush over it, but Makima expressly says that Aki is going to be on the Gun Devil squad. Yeah,
in 1 year or something, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know anything about the passage of time here. Like, I don't know how much has passed since the beginning of the manga.
Probably not much.
There's really no frame of reference unless I'm forgetting something important.
As things stand now, he should make it 1 more year at least.
Yeah, probably.
He had 2 years, now he's got 2 months left, and let's say it's been a month.
Maybe this is a bold prediction, but I feel like there's a 0% chance he dies before seeing the Gun Devil. That's like his entire character. I guess dying in the worst way possible or whatever. I guess it could be that. No, he will. I don't know. He can't die until something about the Gun Devil is brought up anyway. So I'm fine with him. He's all right. He'll live a little bit longer.
Right after this is when we get the scene, EliteAri. The flashback Aki has to a lunch with Angel Devil, and they explain initially how devils work. Devils die in hell. Okay. They come into the earth, and then if they die on earth, they go back to hell, and it's a continuous cycle.
Yes.
And then he talks about...
Yeah. Go ahead.
Let's get to this part first. This is one of the most ominous, coolest moments in the whole thingy. Where he says, like, all the other fiends don't remember much, but they do remember, like, the last thing before they were sent from hell to earth, and they heard the chainsaw going.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And then I wrote, like, a million notes when that happened. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, what's going on here? So much information. This is what I've wanted this whole time. Oh my god. Yeah, but the question is, do you want to talk about this now, or do you want to talk about in the end?
Probably in the speculation. We just mentioned what happens now. But this arc does this so many times where it's, like, crazy implication thing that's so ominous and so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Crazy, bro.
It was just a massive, like out of, like, just casually, they talk about hell and, like, how devils are born and stuff, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, it just comes out of nowhere, so it took me by a big surprise. Cool stuff. And I guess in that case, Aki is the only, well, maybe not the only, but it seems like he might be one of the only people who knows that, because he is getting information from the Angel Devil. Except maybe Makima, of course. But
Makima might have been listening. You never know.
Of course. She's always listening. She's even listening in Germany or something, you know? Crazy. She's listening everywhere.
Indeed. right after this, we get introduced to basically all the assassins.
Yeah, so we get, what do we get? We get the 3 immortal
American brothers.
which
Well, I think that,
you'll have to explain that. Is that a joke that they're not immortal? Is that what's going on?
yes, that is the joke, that they think they're immortal because they had like food poisoning one time and didn't die, and their house caught on fire one time and they didn't die. So it's just sort of, and now this kind of gets into the theme of the arc, if you will, which is about ignorance is bliss and sort of how that can be weaponized as a superpower. But it usually ends up, I just thought about that on the fucking spot, EliteAri. Can you fucking believe it?
Genius.
But yeah, I think it plays into it. But everybody that
that's like a
believes
video
that ends
right
up getting
there.
killed. So yeah, I think the
All
point is that ignorance might only get you so far.
I love that. That's a Kyle. That's the best point you've ever made, Kyle. All right, I like that a lot.
Core themes and changes whatever the fuck. I don't give a fuck.
3 immortal brothers. Yes, one's younger, 2 are older.
They're very funny. The oldest one's like crazy but cerebral and like evil, and then the other one's just like evil and dumb, and then the third one is an actual person and he's trying to deal with this shit.
He throws up when they kill people.
It's actually funny because there is a resolution with the third brother, but it happens at the beginning of the next arc. I don't remember it too well, and I guess that's a spoiler, EliteAri. That's the one for the Kylo.
That's all right. I can forgive that.
But when I was like, no, we probably shouldn't stop at chapter 70, because in chapter 71 it's probably the chapter where but it wasn't chapter 71. Something else happens in chapter 71. Okay. So I have no idea. In the future, unless I imagined it all, but I'm pretty sure I didn't.
All right, I don't know what you're talking about, but I trust you're making a good judgment here.
Next time, catch back in. But these are the first 3 we're introduced to.
Yep.
I think it's just they established their dynamic. Now, they don't look very American. I'm pretty sure they're like Japanese, but they just live in America or something. But the interesting part of this is that all of the governments are contacting these people. These aren't just like people who see it on TV and flock to it. Like the American government, the feds, as they.
So do you want to clarify for me? There's also, so we meet 2 other people. We meet Santa Claus, the old man, who is German, right?
Yeah.
And we also meet Tolka and his master. Are they also German, or are they from the Soviet Union? That's what I didn't understand.
I have no idea. And now this is I think I get it now, but I think they're all like the master and Santa Claus are the same person, right?
Okay, I have my understanding was that the master. Wait, this is I'm sure this is wrong, but the master was the Doll Devil, and the Doll Devil had made a doll out of an old man.
I guess
had been posed as Santa
Claus had a contract with the Doll Devil, so she might literally just be the Doll Devil and not a person. That makes sense. I think you might have got.
I don't know. That's just how I couldn't figure it out. That was the best guess I could think of. But I feel like this is like, I think that's it. It's too complicated. I think like I don't know. Maybe it gets expanded on later, but I just couldn't. It was hard to piece together, and I don't think I
even one bit. I'm pretty sure. But I do remember being confused also. But I think that does make sense. She's literally a devil. Well, but there is a line about how she has like she's made so many sacrifices and contracts with devils that she only has 2 years to live. And Tolka's like, oh, I want you to live the last 2 years of your life in peace or whatever.
Yeah, and she talks about how like now she's cured because her body is like whatever, like after getting the darkness piece.
Yeah.
So she's not purely a devil, clearly. So I don't know what's going on. It's contradictory, and I don't know. I'm sure there's an answer. I just don't know what it is.
I think maybe what I said was correct in that you're supposed to think that Santa Claus is the big bad boss, but then it turns out that he's just like another doll being used by this woman.
Sure,
because Santa Claus does kill himself to give her the power. And there is like a twist there in one of those chapters where it does switch, because you sort of, even just in I guess this isn't a meta, but a more blatant sense, where it switches to make her the main antagonist. And that's before she even gets fed the darkness thing.
And it is interesting, like we don't get her name until like the reveal that she is Santa Claus. Like the whole time, I didn't know what to write in my notes. I kept writing Tolka's master as her name.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I didn't even notice that. But yeah. And it's clear that Tolka is sort of like a Denji parallel, a bit of like somebody who doesn't realize he's being taken advantage of and is being like trained up.
Sure, yeah. I didn't pick that off. It's a good point.
But then we get the lesbian orgies.
Yes.
And Halloween.
I love it. They're probably my favorite assassins.
Yes.
Cool
The
stuff.
lesbian orgy Chainsaw Man memes were another famous one at the time you would have heard of if you were clued into anything.
Of course.
Um,
I never heard of it. But I love them. I love them all. I love all their individual designs. I think my favorite is probably the... I guess it is the Halloween one. Like, I just love how the brain is tied into a bow. I think it's just so cute. And the eyeball is, like, sticking out or whatever. Cool stuff. What a design. Love it.
So this fiend is the only other fiend we've seen have power horns, right? Like, no one else has ever had that.
It was weird in that, we haven't... I don't think we have, but... Firstly, it looked different the first time we saw it, but then like there's a volume cover where it is red and it like looks very similar to Power Horns. But
this is
it's weird. Yeah.
What's like a synonym for blood?
Plasma. I don't know, like some other hemoglobin. I don't know.
I don't know what a hemoglobin is. I didn't go to.
I think it's like part of. I don't know. I don't know. Let's not talk about it.
Keep your smarty pants words to yourself.
I'm probably wrong about that. Everyone's like, oh, hemoglobin, that's not part of blood. What is this guy going on
But she is hanging out in China right now. But assumingly she is Japanese because she has a backstory with Kishibe that apparently EliteAri didn't see because they didn't have it on the actual fucking Shonen Jump thingy or wherever he reads this shit.
Oh, no, I did read it afterwards, so I saw that afterwards. But yeah, it doesn't show up in the Shonen Jump thing. What a ridiculous, like... unless I just somehow I'm missing it. I don't know how.
In case the audience doesn't know, there's like an added backstory. I think after the last chapter where it's sort of Kishibe. Well, first of all, at some point it's dropped that she was the first devil hunter, which I had forgotten
also
about.
Makes no sense, but yeah.
It actually it leans into something you said last time, where you were sort of wondering about how long devils had been showing up.
Yeah,
or something.
that's what I mean. It implies the devils have only been here for like 30 years or something.
Yeah, which is interesting because when you said that, I was like, "Shut up, Ari! You don't need the answer to that question." But apparently, maybe we are exploring that.
Yeah.
It also implies that she's older than Kishibe, though she does not look it. She looks exactly the same in every one of those panels. She even has the eye patch in all of them when Kishibe slowly gets older. Well, she is a Denji bloke girl.
Yeah, she's a
hunting whatever. The hunting.
Is she?
Hunter.
I guess she would turn into a bow or something.
I feel like I had heard that name before, but I don't remember seeing it in the manga when I read it this time.
She's dead now, so...
yeah, and I don't think it's ever brought up after this. But,
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe that was a mistranslation, because I remember thinking, like, oh, she's like the arrow man or woman or something. But then somebody was like, no, she's the hunter, you fucking idiot. I was like, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah, she is set up as the most powerful hand-to-hand fighting person in the world.
Yes, Kishibe, who has been established as like the strongest devil hunter, says that like if the whole world would have like a bare knuckle boxing thingy, she would win. Which is basically like, this bitch is strong as fuck. It's also interesting in their dynamic that she's like kind of a mother to all these girls that she's having orgies with.
She wants them to have human rights, right?
Yes, human rights and a basic education after they're all like stupid in their introductory panel. She's like, I'll grant you one wish if you get Denji. And, well, the Chinese federal? The Chinese Fed here is like that. And she's like...
The government agent.
It's very funny. She's like, give my girls human rights and a basic education. And it's like, cut away.
We'll see what we can do.
If you succeed. But Makima is sort of flaunting it in Kishibe's face here. She's like, I hear your girlfriend is coming to town, and basically being like, I'm gonna kill that bitch, and you're gonna watch with a blindfold on. Yeah, because they're having a little bit of a metatextual fight in the actual sense, not as in the way we usually say metatext. Like, is it an intertextual fight? They're having they're having a fight here. We know that they're shit talking each other under the surface of their lines here. This will be revealed very outright when the girl, whose name I still can't say, and Kishibe actually do meet. Yes, what Ari said. But yes, then we get the Santa.
Before we get there, we also get a bunch of new guard characters for Denji.
Indeed.
I don't know. I know one of their names, but I know the blonde guy with glasses. We get him, which I believe was the Stone Devil guy. Yeah, he was interesting. We get a guy with a dot on his forehead. I don't know what he was. I hardly remember him at all.
Yeah.
And then we get Yoshida, who is the octopus devil guy, who apparently is a better fighter than Kishibe, because he actually lands some hits on Quan Chi.
Well, Kishibe could have landed some hits, I think, but he
but
is
he didn't. He
incredibly
didn't land a
strong, and
single
that is.
thing.
Yeah, but he wasn't going hard on her. He's in love.
Oh, I don't
That is
know.
my excuses. I don't think Yoshida is stronger than him, but it is definitely a point of this arc to point out that Yoshida is very strong.
Very
Now,
strong.
at the
Yeah.
very beginning, Makima sort of says like she sort of comes up with on the spot this like dream protection group or whatever, and she
Mm.
mentions Yoshida and presumably the Stone Devil and the dude with the dot on his forehead. And I recognize Yoshida because he's probably a more important character than the other two, because the other two already died, Ari, and Yoshida didn't.
Yep.
Um,
And
yeah.
Yoshida looks cool as well. He
Oh,
like has the
but
coolest
Yoshida,
design.
because yes, we talk about these things are revealed later, but he is currently in high school, and he's
Yeah.
also in the private sector, whereas all the other ones are in the public sector, which is why he
Oh, I
wears a
didn't
different
pick that up.
uniform. But yes, he is
Okay.
the when they, and I think that might only be mentioned when Makima says it at the very beginning of like, get this dude in Yoshida from the private sector, hire him for a month or something. She
Ah,
says.
okay.
So yes, he is not a public safety dude because Kishibe really doesn't know that much about him, and they sort of get to talking.
Mm.
And Yoshida knows a shit ton about way too much than he should that's going on.
Yeah.
Because he's the one that reveals Makima's power or whatever, and Kishibe is not like, oh, that what a shock. He already knew, but he was sort of baiting to see if he knew.
Yoshida's very cool.
But we can't go into all of that before we get rid of some of these gags here. First of all,
boy.
Power and Denji looking at these fucking ducks and saying, if I were president, I would allow what Power says about eating them. Denji drops this fucking rice ball on the ground. The stone dude's like, you can't eat that. That's not safe. Plus, he's a little thingy, and then Denji eats it anyway. And then Power makes fun of him for trying to steal it. That's why he didn't want him to eat it. Great stuff all around. Incredible memes, this fucking fella. I did like the Stone Devil dude. I barely remembered him, and I remembered that he got killed. But
he's just a strict guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like an Aki, but like less serious.
Yeah.
And he has glasses.
Then,
what a guy. He's just like
Then we get Tendo and his sister. I think they have the same last name. They got the matching scars. They got to be related. And apparently this other big bad dude that was supposed to be coming in to help.
Subaru or something, right?
Yeah, I think that's his name.
I was so excited for him. Yeah, they were like, oh, he's taking time off. It's such a big deal. He's coming here. And then he dies immediately. I was like, wow.
They do announce this earlier. Set this up earlier where in the first arc where they like attack Makima and everybody with guns, and it's repeatedly brought up that like guns can kill devil hunters, even really strong ones. Yeah. And it is funny that it comes back here. The from top down shot of them dead in the car is a very good one too. In a less competitive 2-arc review series, maybe that would have been one of our panels.
Yep.
But there were too many. Crazy stuff.
Well, the next thing is just the amazing car joke where Power just kills someone.
Yeah.
just straight up just kills someone. But thank God it's not the guy who he was.
Yeah.
And I just died laughing. That was actually very funny. That might be the first time I like actually laughed like straight up. It was so funny and so unexpected. Initially, when I saw it, I didn't understand what happened. Like, I didn't see the car. And then I looked at it and I'm like, oh my God. Like, Power just...
There's something about the way it's drawn where it's so, like, realistic and, like, Unchainsaw Man-like to really, like, hit home how, like, tragic it is that, like, Power just killed a random person and she's probably going to get killed for it.
Like, he hits his head on the, like, pole and that's what kills him. It's not even like the car. It's like, Jesus. Love it. And then Kobeni gets blamed.
Yeah, Kobeni's like, I finally saved up enough money so I can become a chaperone for my entire family, and it's not even going to bring me any joy. It's like, great, set up to the gag. Also, we missed out on the whole restaurant scene because Ari didn't want to. He just
I don't even remember it. What's so important about it?
Well, initially Denji gets jabbed 3 times without noticing by the girl who doesn't have a name, who is actually Santa Claus, I guess. And there's a bunch of gags about Power not wanting to eat dead vegetables and something about that. Power says she's going to vomit, and then they make fun of Denji for wanting to eat it, and then she says she'll give him like $20 or something, and he nearly does it. Crazy. Oh, and the ice cream date with Kobeni and the Violence Devil is here.
True. Isn't that amazing? What a pair.
She's only, this is the second time in her life she ate ice cream, and the first time she loved it so much she started running and then dropped it. It's just this poor Kobeni girl.
Yep.
Oh, and the violence devil says, "But I'm not a fan of violence. I'm all about peace and love." And then he does the
Yep.
peace sign.
What a guy.
Because she's like, I don't know. She's like, because she's like, you're not very violent seeming. Uh,
Mm.
Oh, and he talks about here, because we sort of alluded to this earlier, but we didn't have the example right in front of us. But he says,
Mm.
I remember the school I went to when I was human, my favorite place for cheap eats and stuff like that, which is
Yeah.
all in this area. So Arai probably grew up in this area, if it is him. Uh,
Which is
but he
also
doesn't
just
remember
a
how he died.
strange fiend ability, right? Like, it's pretty crazy.
Power was a person before this. What the fuck?
And Power isn't a girl. Power is just the devil, right? It's weird to think of her as
Yes,
like
yes.
she's a corpse. Like it's strange.
But, yeah, but I'm talking about the girl that
Yeah,
Power
yeah, I know.
took over.
Yeah,
It is crazy. Power could be a bloke spirit. No, no,
yeah.
no, no, no. Don't let me think about that. Power's a pretty girl.
Yes, who likes flowers, likes everything as long as people don't want her to have it.
After the car gag, we actually do get the first tease that Yoshida is the one crazy motherfucker because one of them gets away because all three of the
Yeah,
brothers were there, but one of them gets run over and like the crazy. I don't remember which one. Oh yeah, the smart one is the one that gets run over, and then like the crazy violent one is like, I'm gonna go back out there and kill them, and then Yoshida just off screen, and there's like a blood
yeah,
spurt, and
blood.
then he walks back and he does a Marky McCrazy boy smile. It's like,
Yeah,
man, he's cool, but he kind of crazy, and then he doesn't kill the other one because he's like puking, and he's like, well, you can't have been the other one, and it's
yep,
interesting whether or not he actually thinks that or he's just sort of like letting him go, and basically this is his warning.
yeah,
Um, but we do get the poor waiter getting put into the Halloween curse at the beginning here. Oh, and
yep.
they're all very excited for Japanese conveyor belt sushi. They don't even call it
Yes,
sushi train, Ari. Can you believe that?
yep. I can believe it. Yeah.
I wonder if that's an Australian thing to call it sushi train. I wonder.
Okay, you're gonna have to explain this to me so much because there was a whole chapter basically where I understood nothing, which also contributes
Uh-oh.
to why I didn't like this arc as much. But we get a Kurose flashback with that guy, like the guy who took his face or whatever. Um,
Oh yes.
we get like this flashback to I don't know if it is a flashback or if it's like this guy's delusion or something where he's talking to his friend or something. I
All right.
didn't
Yeah.
understand a single thing that was going on there.
But yes. So this fucking prick that's impersonating Tendo over here seems to have taken all the stuff that he had on him and has like an address because he's scared and doesn't want to go devil fight anymore. So this is actually Tendo's friend. And because he's still pretending to be Tendo here.
Oh my god! Wait, so that is the guy, like the American guy?
Yes.
Oh my god! I thought it was a flashback. Jesus. All right.
But it is
Okay,
interesting.
whatever.
Tendo
Okay,
has like a
fair enough.
girlfriend or something, or a kid or something around. No,
Yeah, he
just
has like a
girlfriend and some
whole a whole
dogs.
thing, like something to be a reason to be sad for him dying.
And they used to play soccer, and it's basically this dude starting to feel really bad for killing him. Because they
Wow.
actually point out that it's the first, like, those were the first people he had ever killed.
Yeah.
Um,
Man. All right. Well, that changes the
Yeah.
context of that chapter a lot.
There might be
All right.
some wrap up to this later in the future, Ari, that I spoiled, but
All right. Exciting.
more
Well,
to
the
come.
the next note I have is I said there's a bunch of fights and they're honestly not very interesting. So essentially between here and like the end, like where they go to where we get the Kishibe like Quanchi stuff, there's just a bunch of like fighting with dolls and stuff, and I'm like, oh, why am I reading this? Like, what is this?
I like some of this doll
Um,
stuff, you know? Action
I thought it
wasn't
was
so bad.
lame. I don't know.
We got Santa Claus walking around. He's just out to dinner. Meanwhile, his dolls are fucking people up.
Yep.
So many fucking lesbian orgy shots as I'm scrolling through here.
Mhm.
But we get some. We actually do see Makima for a moment alone with her fiends. She says, "Looks like Santa Claus has arrived in Japan. I'll clean up the dolls a little longer. Beam, you go help Denji." He says, "Yes, understood." Princey, which is the name of the spider, says,
Yep.
"Yes, Lady Makima, like Lady Reese." Germany keeps all kinds of devils. There's no telling what Santa will throw at us. Whatever happens, extract Denji above all else. That's when she opens herself up. Remember that crazy part
Yep.
later? She was going to use that with Denji? What?
Mm.
Leave it to me. She leaves. Also, there will probably be a large number of deaths this time. Makima, because previously there had been speculation about whether or not Makima knew everybody was going to get shot, and she didn't really answer the question. And there is a definite escalation of Makima doing fucked up shit throughout the whole series up until this point. She kills Reese, and you're like, no, don't kill her. And then at the end, she kills what's her name again, Ari?
Oh, Quan Chi.
And the Fiends, and after they surrendered, that's a war crime, I hear. That wasn't
I don't
nice.
know about that.
Kishibe doesn't want to look, and he's sad about it. And it's like, man, this Makima girl, maybe she ain't all good, Ari. Maybe she's a bad guy.
No, come on. Yeah, she's an angel, not a devil.
Oh, hold on, Ari. Yeah, I've added this to the speculation. The last piece here, which was on the next page, Makima says, retrieve as many of our people's bodies as you can.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, that's the thing. I didn't even include that in my notes, because initially I wrote it and I was like, okay, so maybe she's like using the bodies as some like contract or something. But
maybe she just wants to bury them, EliteAri.
That's the thing. That's what I also thought. Maybe because she works for public safety, part of the job is to clean it up. And I was like, okay, maybe she's just cleaning them up. Which honestly, that's the thing I'm going with. I think that's more likely. I don't want to get too excited for stuff that's like going to be boring answers,
Maybe the craziness in my voice when I said that might lead you to the correct conclusion.
No, you're misleading me. That's what's happening.
Yeah, I'm on layer 4, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
And but this devil shit is cool. And then he turns him into stone, and he like blows between his fingers, and it
lame.
Can you believe this fucking idiot tries to do this on the Darkness Devil, and instead of the Darkness Devil fucking him up, he literally summons the demon, the actual Stone Devil, and kills him. What the fuck was that? God, the coolest moment in any fucking manga history.
Darkness.
Yoshida is the one that says it's the Dull Devil. How the fuck did he know? I'm just reading now.
Yes.
This Yoshida fella, he's confusing, crazy, not confusing.
He's powerful.
He's
mysterious, intriguing.
Well, I guess this is where we have a bunch of doll fights. Then we get into we actually do see the Angel Devil here make one of her, because this is established, I think, in this arc, that she can she's absorbed so many lifespans or whatever, she can use them to create weapons. She says usage 5 years creates a cool sword, and then cuts a bunch of the dolls up.
Yeah, what life did she use? That's what I understand. Jesus.
She killed all those people in her village, remember? So that's probably a couple 100 years.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Plus anybody else she's been hunting.
Yep, that's a great explanation. I like it. I'm going to stick with that.
But there's a shit ton of other devil blokes here to protect Denji that Denji didn't even know about. And then the girl shows up, and she's speaking Chinese, and she takes the sword out, and then she fucking says, this fucking pussy Trunks, I fucking hate him. And then she does it, but a million times cooler. She runs past these idiots, runs past everybody, gets into the building. Chapter
is called, like, I don't know. It's like 39 deaths or something.
Yes, and the 49 Fiend Massacre or something.
Yeah.
It's fucking cool. But yes, everybody's heads gets cut in like 2. I love some of the shots of just the department store. Now that's a very American. Nobody says department store where we live, EliteAri. The supermarket over here.
Yeah, I guess that's
it's
right.
Not.
I was thinking of like Bunnings or something, but I guess that's not really a department store.
Yeah, because we get like, there's like clothes shops and food shops here, but so many of the shots here, and there's a lot of like double page spreads of like Denji and Beam like running through it later, but then there's this one of a bunch of people's bodies getting chopped in half. I don't know, I thought they were cool. I was like looking in the background like, fucking clothes shops, What crazy. Oh, and there's one of these great form is content memes where a bunch of like the bodies get like their heads get cut off the bodies, and it's do you know which page I'm talking about? And it's like
form is, I don't know how it relates to form is content. What are you talking about?
Oh, I'm pasting it to you, EliteAri. You gotta fucking figure this shit out.
I think I know. Is it the warped perspective panel?
No. Look at this one.
Oh, yeah, cool.
The heads are they're the fucking panels. That's just crazy, bro.
Crazy,
I love this page.
Crazy, Kyle. I do. It is pretty cool.
Oh, and Aki blocks the shot, and it's kind of cool. But both their swords, but then they get knocked out because Aki's a little fucking weakling.
Yep. Future Devil's useless.
Yes, well, I'm pretty sure he only blocked it because he had the Future Devil, but he still got knocked out. They didn't die, I guess. And then some of the girls are out outside, and Kishibe runs up, and it's funny because they stole his life from him, and he's kind of cute with them. Oh, and her swords all break, and it's cool. Remember that, Ari?
Yep, she replaces it.
But then Yoshida, for the first time, summons his fucking octopus. Isn't that the coolest fucking devil you ever saw? Besides the darkness one. We haven't seen it yet, though. But she beats the fuck out of him real quick. But then Kishibe shows up with his leverage.
Absolutely.
Then they
sit down a leader. Power is pretending to be dead, and that's the second funniest thing I think I've seen. Yeah, it was so funny because it's even the way that Denji is like Powie or something. And it's like, oh wow, he feels bad. She might actually be dead, and nope, she's just pretending.
I was playing dead. Impressed? Question mark. But yes, then they sit down, and this is the coolest scene of all time until the next 3 scenes. He writes down on a fucking... It's like the end of Death Note, EliteAri. They're writing things because they're being listened to. Makima is listening. Do what I say and I'll let you go.
Yeah, more on the Makima is listening thing was very... It's unsettling or like scary, honestly.
It's like terrifying, EliteAri.
Like even the font of it, or like, I don't know what it is, but when you see it, it's like I didn't expect to see it. And
have you ever...
Oh, it's scary for some reason. I don't know why. I can't explain
Doki Doki Literature Club?
Nope.
You don't know anything about it?
I know it's like an interactive like story game or something.
Yeah. All right. You got to watch a playthrough or play Doki Doki Literature Club. All right. It takes 3 hours. But there's a thing called like, it's like always Monica is the girl's name in it. And it very much has the similar vibes. And it might just be because their names both kind of similar and start with M. But it's sort of like this. It is very similar of like, they're listening. Like, freak the fuck out. They're like, crazy shit is happening. But like the continual pad things of like, do what I tell you and I can guarantee your safety. Going to kill Makima will tell you everything if you help. Kishibe, he called her a liar and he wasn't being goofy about it. He's got the plans in motion, it seemed. Initial reaction to this, Ari, what were you thinking?
I was shocked. I was like, I didn't pick this up at all. I didn't get any hints of this at all, where he was like turning against her. I also still don't understand why he wants to kill her. But yeah, I was scared. I was also pretty convinced that Quan Chi was going to join him, but she didn't in the end.
He does not. She never goes with him. Never does anything. Poor Keisha.
Yeah. But that's it. That was my first impression. Scary.
This is when she goes into her initial ignorance is bliss diatribe here. Now, it's interesting, and this is kind of some inferencing on my part, but I assume she already like knows this, and perhaps like she thought about killing Makima at one point or something, but she sort of said, "I'll just go to China and be a hired gun and basically live a basic life." Maybe she's a country mouse.
True.
But yeah, it is interesting. Because there actually is something earlier where somebody, I think it's Swanta, the snake girl, where she's like, there's nowhere in Japan you could go and be like safe from Makima or whatever. So maybe she escaped to China and Makima can't do shit.
It was interesting. We didn't bring it up, but Reese also says that like, oh, you've already met Makima or something. There was no point. Even if I stole you, she would have like found you.
Yeah, you're already Makima's dog or whatever she says.
Yeah.
But yes, everybody knows about something to do with Makima that we don't know about. Neither does Denji.
Yeah,
what is
Makima?
Can you believe that? I know.
You might think you know, and then it gets changed later. Who knows? That'd be funny to watch if 10 years from now, you know.
We'll see about that.
Anyway, so let me see if my next note lines up with
Hold on, she calls Kishibe a dog, Ari. She's like, Kishibe, be a good dog and keep your call. This is like birds being mentioned in Attack on Titan, all right? We got to freak the fuck out whenever this happens.
Dogs are a big deal. Denji's
a little less subtle than the birds in Attack on Titan, I must say. Was it a statue? No, EliteAri. It was a bird. Actually, it ended up being a statue.
Oh my god.
Watch the first part of our Attack on Titan.
And it's a sign for a tool shop. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Well, I need you to explain something again, which is related to the whole Santa Claus thing again. So what happens is Denji gets pierced by that final like fourth needle or whatever. Then Tolka's master, so like Santa Claus, I'm assuming, comes in and touches Tolka. Like this is where I got very confused. Like, what does she do? Like, why does she touch Tolka? And why does Tolka like go look weird? And then Santa
Well,
like is
because
paralleled with Tolka or something. And I'm like,
she's making him a doll, right? That's what's happening.
She's making him a doll. Why is she making him a doll? Like, what's the point of that?
Because it was a big trick to make him do the final thing, so he would be the sacrifice that goes to hell instead of gets the darkness devil thingy. I assume.
Wait, so the sacrifice? What do you mean? So the sacrifice they made was the 3 children, right, and their own life, wasn't it? That's what the old man's life. So then, what is this Tolka person?
And
how do they fall into that?
Well, Tolka had to go to hell to get the contract, I assume, but he ends up dead anyway.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right, because he's like, okay, I want need to get a bit of your flesh or whatever. Yeah, I remember now. Okay, it's all coming together. Thank you, Kyle.
There's a few things we got to go over before we jump all the way ahead to that.
Yeah, of course.
There's a great little, and this is another little like delusional Kyle Entertainment meta thing, but it's funny that like the characters that we can't have go to hell get thrown out of the building onto like cars, so they don't die, but they are also not going to hell to get killed.
That's a good point.
It's so funny that Kishibe gets thrown out, and then because if Kishibe comes up against the Darkness Devil, what's going to happen, Ari?
He is the greatest devil hunter. Yeah.
Yes, but Quicksfani or whatever her name is might be stronger, and she kind of gets fucked up real quick. Though she doesn't transform. But neither does Denji.
Well,
no, Denji does kind of transform a little bit at the end, huh? But also the one dude, the gun dude jumps out. The American dude. The third brother. He jumps out, and that's how like Denji gets out of his situation because crazy stuff, and then he's thrown out of the window. The fucking third brother shows up. And then he gets thrown out the window.
I'll take your word for it. I think I was just so confused.
It's kind of important because he doesn't die.
Okay, I trust you. I believe that's what happens.
Yeah, because Denji's being held hostage by a fiend, and then Power's got the other fiend, so it's like a standoff, and Kishibe's sitting down.
Oh, yes, I remember. It's coming back to me. Thank you.
And then he pops out, and he's like, haha.
All good.
But he didn't actually have shit. Kobeni also watches from the window as her car gets as they land on her car. Yoshida ends up also getting thrown out of the window. With some crazy shit.
His octopus catches him.
Yes, it does. But
and then
he wants a rematch, and yes, it's fucking sick. But he actually lands a blow on Kwiswani or whatever her name is, and it's crazy.
Quan Chi, he's a very effective. He almost he landed a very effective hit on her, much better than Kishibe. So he is stronger than Kishibe, confirmed.
Not true, fake news.
Whatever.
Also, the last little piece here is that the Toka here is using the Fiend Devil, which is what Aki uses. And Denji gets... Devil? No, it's not the Fiend Devil. What is it called, Ari?
I'm assuming you mean Curse Devil?
The Curse Devil, that's the one.
Yeah.
And Denji gets what the katana dude got, but instead he's pulling goofy faces. He gets thing, and we all know, well, that ain't gonna work. But it's still funny and crazy, and it's a great attack and a crazy little fucking design for this. What is it? Curse Devil.
Yep.
And it's funny, Beam just comes up and gets punt kicked in the head and gets knocked out by fucking Tolko. What a great fella this Beam is. Too bad he's fucking dead. Yep. But yeah, then Santa Claus or the woman pops out and she's clapping, and it's all like, you've seen this scene before, EliteAri, in a fucking movie. The underling does a thing, thinks he's going to get a reward, but actually, you're getting turned on. And then he gets turned into a puppet. And I think this is the reveal that she's also Santa Claus and he's her puppet.
The most confusing reveal in any story ever that I just didn't understand.
It confused me the first time too, but Oh, and then this is the greatest moment of manga history, Ari. Aki starts he's like, what is this future? You imagine in this fucking shitty motion cartoon, there's a big dramatic fucking song beat close up on his eyes. He's like, because he's seeing that they're in hell, because it's about to happen. Oh, and she even says bye-bye grandpa, which I mean could be insulting, like bye-bye old man, or it could literally be that Santa Claus is her grandpa. Which is kind of how I took it.
Oh, Jesus. I don't know. I honestly, none of this is making sense. I thought I had it pieced together before when you explained it. Like, but is she's not the doll devil, or she is the doll devil? Like,
I don't think she's literally the doll devil. She definitely has a contract with the doll devil.
Then why does she become a doll? at the end.
Because she's boosting her dull devil powers with the power of the darkness devil, I think.
Okay, I think that's coherent then. So that's her grandpa. She has a contract with the Doll Devil. But also the Hell. Who has the contract with the Hell Devil? The grandpa or her?
Well, her, I would assume, because
Okay.
she's still Santa Claus. So Germany has a bunch of devils that they
Yeah.
contract with. So the Hell Devil must be one.
But
of them.
grandpa was the one who sacrificed his life.
Yes.
Like, it was children and his life. So wouldn't it be him who has the contract? And then is he a person or is he a doll?
Well,
I just don't think this makes sense.
I don't think Grandpa is a person anymore. I think he's like at some point she turned on him and made him a doll.
So then why is sacrificing grandpa so important? It's like for the
I don't know.
contract. The
Chainsaw Man has
like,
another sacrifice thing that doesn't quite make sense like this too, but I'm trying to remember what it is. And also, I think there probably is an explanation. We're just missing it. Because Miller's going to write us an angry comment.
I would love someone to explain this because it might bump this whole arc up a bit because I just didn't understand it. But okay, yeah, I'm willing to listen.
Then he has this cool thingy where he says, "Oh, I fear my heart and my beloved children. In exchange, Hell Devil, please call all living things in this department store to hell." We cut to some fucking house somewhere. A finger takes out 3 fucking kids. This fucking idiot's bleeding on the ground. Yeah. Everything goes dark. They're trying to figure out what the fuck is happening. On a reread, Ari, this is even better. You're like, holy fuck, it's happening. Yeah. Everybody's freaking out. I love moments like this where something like fucking, this is the moment where you see the fucking moon come in front of the sun in Berserk and everybody's starting to freak out. And you're like, holy fuck, it's happening.
Yes.
There's other moments like this too. I likened it, because I was talking to Miller about this, I likened specifically Makima showing up later to Dumbledore showing up at the end of Order of the Phoenix.
Oh, that's
holy fuck.
Yeah,
it's
that
on.
is a good one.
Big bad and our friend here, Makima, and they're going to fucking fight. And just like in the Order of Phoenix, it doesn't really have a resolution. They both just run away.
Yep.
Bullshit.
I guess it is really similar to that. Like where you got like her pointing a hand and him pointing a hand. And
I think I had a DBZ example to liken it to too, but I forgot it, Ari.
All right.
There's some Naruto moments like it too, but
All right, let's talk about Hell, Kyle. Your favorite
this
part
fucking
of this
idiot's hand comes down. Can you believe it? The Hell Devil. We're looking at him. These are his hands. Oh shit! He has 6 fingers like Void. Holy fuck! I just saw that.
Does he?
He does.
Where's this? Oh my god, you're right. Wow, that's cool.
And then the hand on the ground, it is his hand that closes. It's also got 6 fingers, like Void.
Neat. The Hell Devil himself.
I assume this adds to 666 somehow, because that's like the devil number, Ari. Did you know that?
I know, I remember, yeah. Okay, Kyle. So, we go into Hell.
You're not skipping this. We got to talk about Hell imagery first.
Okay, go ahead.
It's fucking Monsters Inc. EliteAri. What the fuck?
Is. As soon as I saw it, I was like, so this is what Kyle was talking about with the Monsters Inc. thing last time.
Oh yeah, I did.
It's like all these doors or whatever. Yeah, I was like, oh wow.
And then it's just like a field, and there's a tub, and some other things. There's just some fingers on the ground. What the fuck is going on, Ari? This is the coolest hell I ever saw in my life.
I have theories, but I don't know. It is. It is very cool.
Is some wacky imagery, but and that's cool enough for me. But I'll hear some theories.
Oh, I don't know if I really have any, but we'll talk about it later. But
how did he draw so many different doors? Look at this. I guess he was watching Monsters Inc. Huh? They did that too. So many different door designs. Oh, what the fuck? I'm impressed.
And Denji has a door in his dreams. Crazy. But yeah, this is a great hell. This is not like if there ever was a hell, I was not expecting this.
Yeah, it is. It's Chainsaw Man hell. It's so cool, just like Chainsaw Man. But then some things start happening. The fiends all start freaking the fuck out of EliteAri because they're
being watched by the primal fears.
Yes, it's interesting that like Power don't say nothing here, which is cool. Her comedy probably isn't for this scene, and I don't think she says a single fucking word this whole time. But the one fiend with the mouth hair thingy gives all the exposition here. The violence devil is feeling really bad. Kobeni's worried. And even Angel Devil is freaking out because she's the only devil here that isn't a fiend, and I said she again. And just starts, we're finished. This is hell. It's hell sent. It's hard to believe, but we've been cast into hell by a devil's power. Denji starts hurting too. Now, assumingly Kusani here is also hurting, but she's no selling it. She ain't showing none of the pain.
That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
I remembered this, but also I remember before they get sent to hell, they're all like making these hell puns, like, "Oh, what the hell? What's going on?" I was like, "Oh,
Yes,
that's
they do
funny."
say what the hell, yeah. That was funny. But she is very calm throughout the whole thing. She's asking her fiends if there's a way to escape. Um,
Yeah,
they're like losing their minds here. We're being
they want to
watched.
kill
We're being watched
themselves.
by a dangerous devil. Far beyond here, devil's far more dangerous than some gun devil, some
Yep.
piece of shit weak gun devil.
Thank God.
Devils with the names of the primal fears are watching us. They're all watching them. Only one came though, EliteAri, and boy did he come. That was a
Yeah.
funny cum joke.
It is funny how like whenever you ask someone, "Oh, what's like a big like the biggest fear or whatever?" I imagine dark would be the one that people like the most common one that people say. I don't think it's the biggest fear, but it
Yeah,
is interesting. Like it is like the stereotypical fear, right? Like everyone is afraid of the dark at some point in their
yeah,
life.
yeah. It's interesting because another one would be like heights or something, but how do you make that like a creature? I'm sure
Well, that's the thing.
Fujimoto over here's got some fucking ideas, but
So in terms of the primal fears, these are my guesses, all right? But I would say dark, obviously. I would say
heights might not even be one.
I don't know. Heights could be like that's a candidate, I think. But I
I'm
don't know
thinking
what's
Far
like
Cry
primal
Primal.
about it.
I
You
was
know?
scared of the dark in that game.
I think the most primal thing would be hunger. Like everyone is, or starvation or something. Like everyone would be afraid of that as like a primal thing.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to. Everyone has a fear of not having food. I think the biggest fear in the world, like realistically, would probably be pain. But I don't know if that would be, like I don't know if that counts as like a fear. You know, because like by
Yeah.
definition, everyone is afraid of pain. Because by definition, for it to be painful, you have to not want it.
Ari, I bet the biggest fear is love, and that's going to be the big bad guy at the end of Chainsaw Man. It'll be some cute fucking thingy.
That would be interesting. Yeah. Well, I
But
did think
death
about
is
that.
probably a big one too, right? We got all of these.
Yeah, fear of oh, I had an idea. I don't know. Maybe it'll come to me. Something about connection and stuff. I don't know. But yeah, dark, hunger, pain, maybe heights, maybe, and death, maybe.
Divorce
I don't
devil.
know.
That one's a scary
Divorce,
one.
maybe. Yeah. Yeah, companionship or something. I don't know. Like fear of
Yeah.
losing someone. Because people like other people, obviously, but we're very social.
It's funny because the first one I go to after like dark is like snakes, but we already had the snake one and it wasn't that strong.
Snakes. That's what Kyle.
That's
as
just
a
the other
primal
thing I was
fear?
scared of when I was a kid.
Jesus
But
Christ!
yeah.
All right. Interesting.
But
I
we're
like that.
continuing the monologue.
Anyway,
here.
so wait. Before, I just want to say more about the dark thing. I just wanted to say that I feel like dark isn't really a thing. Like like more people. Like, do you really think the dark is such a big fear? Really? Like, are there that many people who are afraid
Absolutely.
of the dark?
I feel like it's what you said that everybody at some point has been afraid of the dark.
Yeah, at some point though, but like people get over it, I think. Surely. Like maybe if you count like at any given moment in time, maybe it's the most common thing, I guess. I guess I could see that.
I feel like in most polls it would be like pretty high. It is sort of a thing like as
But is
you
that
grow
what
into an
people just
adult, you
want to
get-
say? Like do
Maybe,
people say
but,
fear of dark is because it's in media so much and everyone says, "Oh, the fear of dark, that's the biggest fear" or whatever, but it's not really like I don't know.
I think so. I don't know. And it is fuck, I had something to say.
Well, my next note is about Tolka's master. Oh wait, no, this is way later. I said Tolka's master gets a piece of darkness's flesh.
Yes, we'll get to that in a second.
All right.
But then the fiend here is given all the exposition. Oh, actually, no, yeah, it is back to this one. The angel was talking for a little bit. They're the transcendent devils who have never once experienced death.
Yep.
The very instant we draw their hostility, we'll die. And then she says, "Permission to kill myself. Idiot, I'll get us out of here somehow," Kixani says.
Yep.
And then
But she
she
doesn't.
screams, "It's already over. We're doomed, it's coming, it's on the way." And I love how how the speech bubbles are on this page and sort of guides you down to the one door, and then it's here and it slowly opens. You don't see anything. The darkness devil, and then it drops in its little blotch of ink,
Yep.
and you're like, "Oh no, is it going to be like a little blotch of ink that kills them?" And then it starts to materialize, and then
Yep.
Aki brings up his sword like it's going to do something. Then we get. Did you hear my clap when I did that just now?
Nope.
Astronaut, hands together. He's praying. Oh, This is what I was going to say before. I was going to say, Yeah, dark is like a little baby fear until you start thinking about space EliteAri. That's some pretty scary shit that's all dark.
All right. It makes sense, I guess. And that's why the astronauts
He doesn't
are there.
believe me, chat.
I'm not afraid of space. Space is nothing pathetic. It's just void. It's
You're gonna be trapped in space forever. An endless void of nothingness, Ari.
It's a dream come true.
You got separated from your space fleet. Like one of these astronaut fellas that
I'd be alone with my thoughts
in real life.
Yeah.
Ugh. But yeah, so we see his silhouette a whole bunch.
There's a dead praying astronaut. And they have symbols on their arms.
Yes. I don't know if that's a NASA thing or this one's from Russia, because this prick was a Russian when he died, though they all have the same one, so I don't know what it is. But also, there's a frog light motif throughout this, and I'm saying light because it's less than, but I don't think that's what light motif is.
Well, there's a few things. Like, there's the like stealing of hand or arms or whatever. That's like a thing that happens. You've got the sword as well, like the sword, and you've got the frog, which is like croaking for some reason.
Yeah, but the frog is because I got no fucking idea what the frog means. The other ones I can, I'm big brained, Ari. I know these things. I might have read this before. But yeah, the frog was interesting. I don't know. Frogs can see in the dark? I don't know.
It could be a Japanese culture thing. I feel like there's something with frogs.
Oh, I actually thought about that as I was reading it, because Naruto talks about Japanese frog lore a lot, because Naruto can summon frogs. He's got a contract with the frogs. Man, Chainsaw Man ripped everything off Naruto. What a great series. You literally have to like bite your thumb and put the blood on the contract in Naruto. Man, so cool. But there's like I think of frogs in the well, like a frog at the bottom of the well. It's all dark, Lamau.
Sure, yeah.
I think that's something my brain came up with. But yeah. Then we see this fucking prick in a double spread, Makima in the air with the arms spelling the letters, just all their arms instantly off. And now this seems to be something he and Makima can do, where they just sort of point and like cuts are made or limbs are broken off.
Yeah,
it's crazy. And then we get that crazy panel where everybody's like, my arms, and then the doll devil, this Tolka pro says, I am the doll devil. Man, Miller's going to be so mad at us later. Can't you wait for this cunty fucking comment? Obviously, he's the doll devil. I guarantee it's happening.
Yeah.
But yes, he says, I've brought you Chainsaw's heart as per the contract. I forgot about this until this moment. The Darkness Devil wanted Chainsaw's heart. What the fuck?
Yeah, I thought that was a big deal. Yeah, that's like the whole reveal, right? Wait, what did you think was so interesting about this like dynamic? Just the Makima thing? Like, with her
bro, I was
in
with the imagery. I don't give a fuck about this shitty story anymore. My goodness gracious. All right, fair enough, you see fucking these doors?
True.
I can't. Very true. There's like a response to that, but it's a spoiler.
Well, good. No spoilers. I am very interested in these mysteries.
But it's not a spoiler. It's like
no, you're not saying it. Don't say it. Don't say it. I don't want to know. All right.
There's no way I could know. That's the spoiler. But no. Right. Please give me the power to kill Makima. Oh, what's he talking about? Why does this strong fuck need some more power to kill Makima? Crazy. How strong is a Makima? All the questions you're asking as you're reading the greatest chapter in manga history.
Well, it is weird, isn't it? Isn't it really weird, now that I think about it, how the Darkness Devil thinks that this tiny little flesh that he gives is going to be able to kill Makima, but then, at the same time, he fights her and completely, like, stalemates her. Isn't that weird? Like, a weird bit contradiction.
Well, he seems to be winning quite it. Like, it seems like he is more powerful.
Well, I don't know about that. Well, it seems like when she put her hand out...
what happened.
She puts her hand out and, like, crushes him, and he's like bleeding to death, and when he puts his hand out, she just, like, damages her hand. Like, that's all that happens, really, in that exchange, right? Like, she's way more powerful.
She's, like, bleeding out at the end, too, and she can't even fight afterwards.
Well, because the sword that they, like, attacked with. I don't know.
Yeah, the sword's part of him. He's got his darkness sword.
I feel like Makima was in complete control in that situation, is what it feels like.
No, Makima is about to die. She can't beat the darkness.
No, I disagree. Cool. I disagree.
I would bet my life on it, EliteAri.
Well, then why... Okay, if you're so confident, then... Are you saying that the Darkness Devil was very arrogant and he thought that even a single bit of his flesh would defeat Makima by giving it to the doll?
Well, I don't think he cares that much.
But it was a contract. For a contract, like, you have to honor it, right? As a devil. Like, if he thought that part of the contract is you give me the power to beat Makima, he has to give the power
well, you
to
don't
defeat
have
Makima,
to honor
right?
it. Please give me the power to kill Makima. Maybe the power could have killed Makima. She just used it wrong, and then Denji got in the way.
Oh, so the devil's in the details. Okay, I like that. That's good.
Maybe. What a turn of phrase. But then we had the flashback to the original thing where Santa was approached, and there was also a Makima is listening meme.
Yes, in
Makima,
German,
no,
right?
there's a Makima
I translated that
can
one.
hear us. Yes. Well, it's translated here underneath.
Oh, I didn't even see it. I
The
put
day
my
of
phone up and
reckoning.
I was like, what is this? I need to know.
The day of reckoning is near. What the fuck does that mean? Kill Makima. Crazy. But then it comes out of the side of the panel again and has the a little bit of darkness, and then feeds it, and she blushes and then swallows, and it's all oddly sexual and crazy stuff. But then we're still in hell. All right, we still got to get out of hell. And Denji's just freaking out because he's like, "You can't kill Makima. We got to go on our fucking trip." And then this fucking prick with his bleeding arms is trying to make the fucking alchemy circle from, I nearly said from My Hero Academia, from Full Metal Alchemist. But this fucking, well, first of all, he decapitates this fucking Tolka doll prick. Rest in peace. But he summons the fucking stone. This is the coolest thing I ever saw, because I'd completely forgotten about this. This is just like I remembered everything the Darkness Devil did. I fucked up Makima, and Ari refuses to believe it. And I was like, man, he's so cool. And part of it was he grabs the fucking. This is part of it. There was a bonus. I didn't even remember. He just grabs the Stone Devil. Look at how cool the little Stone Devil is.
True,
He's
it's a
fucking
cute little
dead.
thing, right?
And as the Stone Devil gets killed, fucking so does this prick here. He was cool. I liked him, and now he's dead. Then Beam feeds some of his arm blood to Denji. Kobeni, take my mask off. My God, Ari, can you believe how this is escalating?
And they all
please
lose.
revive
Everyone
and
wins.
grant our wish. Beam says, "What does that mean?"
So I'm gonna assume that's
And
important then,
then he
because I saw
points at
that and I
Beam,
was like,
Beam-
oh, I assume Beam is like making a joke or something about like some personal relationship thing, but maybe it is important. Okay,
Could be both. Could be neither. Could be
it
something.
could be both. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And then he fucking dismembers Beam here, and fucking Beam is dead.
Oh, Beam will be okay. He'll be alive. We don't see the aftermath of anything, right? Makima survives. Aki survives.
I feel like you do for everybody that's alive.
They all get their arms back, right? Like all the fiends get them
Well,
back.
Aki and
gets
the
them
gang
back.
do.
Yeah.
Everybody
I'm
that
pretty
lives
sure.
did.
I think Beam's alright. I think he'll live.
Well, we'll have to see about that.
Yeah.
The oh fuck, I had something to say, but I forgot it. Something about Beam Ari. He was so cool. Oh, I remember underneath this particular chapter, I was enraged by the comments on the original thing I was reading this on, where they were complaining about Chainsaw Man. It's just bad. It's just killing people off for shock value at this point. I remember wanting to punch people.
Well, I mean, it is, right? That doesn't mean it's bad.
No,
but,
it's
like...
the greatest story of all time.
No. I think it's a
Darkness
good thing
Devil
it's
should have
doing
killed
it.
everybody.
Yeah.
I'm on the Darkness Devil side.
But it is doing it for shock value, right? Like you're meant to have all these characters built up so that this Dark Devil can just take it away.
Well, the shock
but I think
value
it's
in
done
this
well.
quick sentence was not a positive. All right, he was negative.
Fair enough. True. We don't like people
but it
being
is
negative,
cool
especially
here.
about the anime, right?
Yes.
All right, good. I'm glad you agree. All right.
I love the anime. 10 out of 10. The dot prick and is Zantani over here. They jump right into action, try to kick this prick, and he kills everybody in sight except for Power because she's a main character and she only gets some cuts on her face. But Zantani over here gets cut up, but she can come back. The two fiends and the other soldier dude.
But how great is
dead.
the violence fiend? He gets attacked, he gets destroyed, and then he grabs an arm and starts attacking with the arm. What a guy!
Yes, he tries again because he puts his thing down, and the Darkness Devil fucking says something. But it's in some fucking weird kanji language that I assume isn't actually anything. But it's crazy, man. He spoke.
I don't even know what you're talking about. What? I want to have a look at this actually.
Copy placed.
I can cut
Give
this out.
To EliteAri. No, we're not copying. I'm still entertaining the folks here. It's staying in. I'm copy and pasting the weird kanji overlap thing. That one of the faces is open, saying something, and then there's just like holes in the fucking in poor Arai's fucking legs and head or whatever, He's
Yeah.
just does thing, and then Chainsaw Man, that's our boy Denji, for those of you that don't know, tries to attack him, but there's some like blockage force field thing, and a bunch of like screaming dudes around him stopping something. What the fuck is
Mm-hmm.
going on? Power's bleeding out. Aki's looking around, remembers Himeno. He does care, and he's like, not again. And then this fucking Darkness Devil, all of his hands are coming together. He's praying like he's an astronaut. Denji's getting fucking twisted and shit. He summons a fucking arm out of his mouth, this Arai prick. He tries to bring it down on him, and he gets killed in the grossest fashion ever with this fucking sword. Just cuts him into a
Yep.
million pieces. I've never seen more blood in my life. This little
Yep.
thing chings down here. He's got on the hint of... This is the greatest chapter of all time. He's looking down at this last panel, this last page rather, of him looking down at Aki. There's something... It's...
Hmm?
What is it? Why is this so great? I'm looking at it, it's reminding me of something vaguely, and it's also the greatest thing ever.
I know what you mean. Like it is. It's like a complete loss for Aki. Like he's given up in that moment.
Yeah,
And
but
we've
like,
seen what
there's
the
something about the
darkness can
Darkness
do.
Devil pose that reminds me of something. Like, it could literally be like a comic, like a Spider-Man cover or something. Like,
I mean,
that's
to
what my
me, it
brain
feels
goes to.
like I don't know what, but it reminds me of something in Berserk. I don't know
Huh.
why. Like someone leaning over.
Boyd does have a cape.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, there
I
is that
can't place
Guts
it.
casket thing where they're looking at each other, but that's a happy moment. Also, the devil boy over here is looking at Aki very intently. Like, he loves him.
Hmm.
I promise the panel by panel will stop soon. Oh, and then the Darkness Devil just looks over at the Angel Boy, and he starts fucking bleeding everywhere. He doesn't die, though. Um,
Yep.
and then
Just like
Aki's
the
bleeding out the mouth, too. And then the spider bitch shows up. She just shows up in hell somehow. She didn't get summoned. How the fuck is she here? She opens up on him. And then we got another frog, Ribbit. It's got Ribbit written on it. That's funny. Maybe every time somebody shows up in hell, it ribbits, because it ribbited when the Darkness Fiend showed up, and now when the Spider Devil shows up, because it's Makima. And then he offs with all her limbs. She's got 50,000 limbs, and Makima's never looked cooler in her life. She's sitting on a pile of fucking dolls, and she says, "Damn, Darkness Devil, bidding me to come to save them, aren't you? Lady Makima, you must not come. Princey, call me as you wish." And she fucking opens up, and Makima appears. Can you believe it, EliteAri? And
I
then they
can
point
believe
at
it.
each other.
With really long arms.
Yes. She does cut this prick in half, huh?
She like crushes him. Like it's one sided completely.
But he's up in a second, and then all of her fingers bend back, and her arms gone, and then their swords getting shot at her. She's fucking dead,
True.
bro. This Darkness Devil's got
Oh
her.
my god.
And then... Oh, and then she controls the doll dude by saying, "Hell Devil, I offer you all of myself, so please send us back," and it works. But right as she's doing it, she gets speared through the heart. And then the six-finger bloke shows back up again, and he's bringing the panel up with him back into the
that's really
light.
cool.
And they're all there. And then we fight with the doll devil for 4 chapters. That was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Cool stuff.
You
What a
think that was
recap.
awful to listen to or great? I feel
I
like
don't
that was
know.
great to listen to.
I think
Fuck
it'll
'em.
depend entirely on how many panels I put up on the screen.
You
Which I
don't put
know.
nothing up. We just explained it to him.
Oh boy. All right.
Oh no, I just made Ari's next 12 hours awful.
You know what? What a chapter. Maybe it's worth it because it's an amazing 2 chapters.
That was like
or whatever.
5 chapters.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's
Ugh.
great. I love it. I don't know what to add. I mean, you just described everything great about it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
When it just is that escalation of like, this is the craziest shit I've ever seen, piled on the craziest shit I've ever seen. And it all has weight because Makima has been built up as such a mysterious powerhouse, and you're so curious, like, what happens when she actually lets go, bro? She killed Race without nothing. And then this is here, and introducing another character to have a bunch of other characters job out to them, and then for us to like basically be like, well, we'll get back to this in a future date, Lamau, because we're cutting away now. Why does the Darkness Devil want Makima dead? Why does he care about whatever Makima's doing in the human world?
Well, he doesn't care about her.
What's going on?
He cares about Denji. He wanted the Chainsaw Devil, right?
Yes.
Like
but he also said
Devil
Makima with those fucking hands. So I
oh,
think
that's true. Yeah, very true. Yeah, actually, that's a very good point. I just completely forgot about it. Interesting.
But then outside is when we get the Kisha Bay Yoshida conversation.
Yep.
Where Yoshida basically says that, well, there's some other little things here. He says that, like, for a security detail, it sucked. So basically, Makima didn't actually want Denji to be protected for some reason.
Yeah,
She
which I like.
requested we're
That
all
is like
third-rate
a
hunters.
it makes me feel better about the future of the series because I was like, if this is the best of the best and they got defeated this easily, I hope we see some more powerful people later.
He's kind of were the best of the best, right? Yoshida showed up, and apparently you think he's better than Kishibe,
Well,
who was the
I thought
best.
what. Well, I mean, yeah, I agree with that, but I thought he said in that the whole point you just said was that they didn't bring the best of the best. Isn't that what you just said?
Or maybe the Stone Dude wasn't the greatest of all time, but Kishibe's right there, and
No,
both
I
of them
know.
seemingly couldn't beat Sani, but the Darkness Devil
Yeah.
fucked him up real quick. Her up. What
Yeah,
up, bro?
I agree. I agree with the Darkness Devil. I just mean in general, though.
But I guess Makima never expects them to ever fight the Darkness Devil again, right? He's staying in hell forever. He ain't dying and coming to this world.
I don't know.
And they did end up beating Santa Claus, so...
Yeah. So Flesh of the Darkness Devil, not even that strong.
He's the strongest of all time. If
Right.
third rate makes you... if you're third rate, that makes me fourth rate, is what Kishibe says here. Which
So even he
implies...
acknowledges.
Yeah, shut up. But it also implies potentially in this first part that Yoshida is saying that, like Yoshida's saying that he's third rate is just sort of him being a little humble prick.
Yep.
But then he says even a first rate hunter can't beat age. Kishibe's old. No.
True. He's like most of his body is gone, right?
No, Kishibe's the strongest. Shut up, Ari.
No, but it's
Miss
gone for a good
Makima-
reason because he has the needle devil, the knife devil, or whatever. He has a bunch of.
Oh,
contracts.
yeah.
Yeah. Fear of Needles is probably a
The,
big one. And he has a contract with that
Yeah,
one.
because they do say exactly what he has. Oh, yeah, I had octopus. He says it right here. I had octopus check. Oh, no, that's about the rats. But somehow he also knows about all Kishibe's devils.
Yep.
But he says Miss Makima and Santa are both making moves for some objective that we don't know about. Not that
Yeah.
it matters to me as long as I get paid. Then he's pretending he doesn't care.
What a cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, then they fight.
Yeah, and then he says, I have finals coming up. So he's a high school student. And that's the end of that.
Right.
Then we get Kisani's form, and then they fight a lot.
Quan
And then I
Chi.
guess the only other thing that we have to talk about in detail is Halloween.
Which is just the coolest thing ever. Once you understand everything, you can only think of Halloween until you die. And why Halloween?
Yeah.
Why is it that when you understand everything in the universe, you
Why?
think of Halloween? It's so interesting. It's so cool. What a cool idea. I don't even like if you just extract that, like those few pages where you've got that being explained. It's just my favorite thing ever. I've never seen anything where I've enjoyed it so much. That's it. That's all I have to say. What a sequence of events this Halloween.
Yeah,
stuff
and it
is.
is sort of an inexplainable enjoyment, right? It's like, man,
It's like a
I don't know
cosmic
why that-
mystery for me. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I just love it so much. And just the visuals as well. It looks so cool. Yeah. All right. Halloween.
It's interesting because right afterwards she can't do it to Makima because she's like worn out or whatever.
Yep.
I wonder what would happen if she tried to do it to Makima.
I guess that would depend on what Makima is. Like, what I have no idea what. What the hell is she a devil? Is she a human? Like, I don't know.
There was funny stuff with Denji saying shining power over and over again. He beats the devil. Then we get he puts himself off of fire by opening blood and putting it on him. That was cool. But yes, the Halloween stuff is great. She's so arrogant, and then she gets fucked over by Halloween. And Makima has the line, "A corpse is talking. It's crazy and evil." Kishibe feels it when the blood splatters on his face. And he doesn't want to take it off, and it's a cute thingy. Oh, and also the third brother is pretending to be a doll by screaming Halloween, Halloween over and over again so he can sneak out.
Oh, he's
and not get
pretending.
caught.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes. Because he even has an internal monologue here where he's like...
Oh, God, that guy's whole storyline confused me.
actually, he might not have an
confusing
internal
arc.
monologue, but they do have a close-up of him like rolling his eyes back into his head like he's clearly pretending. That wasn't a spoiler.
All right.
But yes,
That's
it ends.
the
The
arc.
last panel is the Kishibe, I don't want to see a thing, and it's so sad. And then we get the backstory with him, and she's like, I like women, and he's like, I know, and he cries. That was cute.
Yeah.
Um,
All right. Anything else? Because I got miscellaneous notes. Very few, but I can blast through them unless there's anything else.
yes, Makima's evil. A corpse is talking is a great little panel.
All right. I agree. Well, actually, I don't know if she's evil. You know.
Keep going.
Miscellaneous notes. Okay, in chapter 41, Makima says that the Angel Devil is the strongest in Division 4 next to Kishibe. Interesting. I never would have guessed that based on the fact that he almost died by being flung into Typhoon. The Angel Devil killed everyone in the village they were born, which is strange. Like, how were they born? Were they born to a mother? Like, what does that even mean? That's interesting. Then, this is a callback to, like, last arc, but in this, I don't remember exactly what, but something in this, one of these arcs says that, I think it's the Fox Devil, that something says, like, oh, there's a bad smell with the bomb girl.
Yeah.
And then it just made me think of how, like the Ghost Devil, like Himeno's Ghost Devil was like, oh, there's something bad about Sawatari. And she was nothing in the end. Like, she wasn't very strong. She just had a snake and she, like, died very quickly. So why was she built up as, like, something for the Ghost Devil to fear? Like, she wasn't a half devil,
Well, the
half
snake
human or
thing was
anything,
kind
like-
of strong. She just got jumped by Kobeni right before she could do anything.
I guess she, yeah, fair enough. I guess that's what it has to be anyway. Then, I guess I also wrote that I think Fujimoto has my favorite art style of any manga I've read so far.
It's
I
so
really
good.
enjoy the Chainsaw Man art style. Yeah, it's very, like, rough and very, I don't know, it's very cool.
It's very rough, but a very different rough to Isayama's rough. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is. Like, the lines are thicker or something. I don't know what it is. It's cool. I also wrote that there's a few chapter titles here that I like, especially the pairs, like how chapter 59
The
is
Death
called Mess.
Flower Chainsaw or whatever.
No, like the repetition, like where 59 is Mess and then 62 is Super Mess.
Oh, I didn't even
and,
notice that.
Like 44 is Boom 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 and 48 is Kaboom Kaboom Kaboom.
Yeah, because it's bigger explosions. I noticed
Yeah,
that one.
I really like these titles. Are so cool. And I'm sure there's a lot more references I just haven't picked up, but love the chapter titles. Well, that's it, except for we don't want to, we've already talked about all the characters. The rest of the theories, so I can just talk about a bunch of stuff. All right, we've already talked about the primal fears. The first thing is how Aki will die. And they say the worst way possible, which my theories, I guess, are either not achieving anything, so like just dying meaninglessly in that fight with the Gun Devil somehow, or potentially being completely forgotten, like in his death, like maybe he will die, or maybe no one will even notice he dies and they'll think that he left or something and everyone will forget about him. That could be the worst way possible to go. So those are my two guesses as to how he dies.
What if he gets to the Gun Devil and the Gun Devil kills him, one-shots him?
Yeah, that's what I would treat that as the first thing, where it's like he goes there not achieving anything, he just like dies straight away. I would say that's possible.
Oh, okay.
But it's either those. Either he like is gonna die straight away, or he'll just die and be forgotten or something, and his whole life will be meaningless. Then there's a few sections. So the Devil lore from the Angel Devil. We get a lot of lore from them. So to start off with some facts, we get when a devil dies, they turn to ash. But as long as people fear their name, they'll come back to life in another form. That's the first thing. It's also when a dead devil goes to hell, and the angel... when a devil dies, they go to hell. Like when they're on Earth and they die, they go to hell. And then the angel devil speculates that if a devil dies in hell, then they'll return to Earth. Which is interesting. I also don't know if we should trust that or not, but it's a fact. We also get that the fiends and devils in Division 4 don't remember hell. It's like being in a mother's womb or whatever. How we don't remember that. And the devils all remember the sound of the chainsaw before dying in hell. So, I guess that implies that the chainsaw devil is killing devils in hell for some reason. Because if it's the last thing they remember before dying, or last thing they remember before coming to Earth, means that they died in hell to the chainsaw, is what I'm assuming. So I guess the question is why? And I don't know, but I guess my two guesses would be very out there, and I guess for some reason the Chainsaw Devil wants either solitude in hell, like he wants to be the lone devil in hell for some reason.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, or he wants to eradicate hell itself. So he wants to send all the devils to Earth, and then maybe if all the devils are on Earth at the same time, hell will disappear or something, like some rule of hell. So maybe that's why he's doing
Maybe
it.
he's
I don't
just
know.
like Goku and he likes fighting, bro, and he just wants to kill a motherfucker, you know?
Maybe, I don't know. It's possible. I didn't even cross my mind, but it's possible as well. Another thing in regard to this is that, yeah, so they also mention how all the governments want Denji, not because they want Denji, but because they don't want Makima to have him. So that implies that they all know about Makima, and the reason I would assume they all know about Makima is the fact that all the devils know about Makima for some reason, and I would assume that all the governments have deals with devils to get information from them. So I would assume that's why they all know about Makima. It's not
That's
like
another,
they inspect or something.
Like incredible, great, ominous moment when Makima's like, they don't want me to have him. And it's like, what does that mean? Crazy.
Yeah,
shit.
which is, what does it mean? I have no idea. But if Chainsaw is the only one who is killing devils in hell, which is kind of what it sounds like they were implying, then I guess the thing is that whoever controls Chainsaw controls the flow of devils back into Earth. So if you control Chainsaw, then you control the devils coming to you. So
Wait,
I guess
do you think Chainsaw is currently in hell doing that, or do you think like?
No, I don't think the Chainsaw is. I think Chainsaw is Pochita, and Pochita is in Denji. So I think whoever controls Denji right now, like the reason they don't want Makima to have him is that if Makima keeps him, then devils will stop coming to Earth, or they'll come at like a ridiculously like slower rate or whatever, because they'll just have to die by other means. So I think they want Denji so that they can kill him or something. Because they want to maintain power, because they use their devils to maintain power. Yeah, send him back to hell so that he can keep killing things or whatever. But then again, there's also the gun devil who wants the chainsaw devil. And I'm still sticking with my theory that they fought together, and the gun devil just wants him out of a personal grudge for weakening him or something. And for that, my other theory with the gun devil is that maybe after the fight he had with Pochita, this imaginary fight that I've somehow I'm just so confident about, he ended up in the Soviet Union at the end, and maybe the government found him when he was weakened or something, and now that they've made like a deal so that like they'll work together to get Denji. So yeah, I don't know, something like that. That's kind of what I'm assuming, and that all ties in with like the thing we were talking about, how like the gun devil is working with Typhoon, and Typhoon respects Reese, and Reese is Russian or whatever, or Soviet Union, so it all ties back together somehow. There's also the question of what happens to a half human, half devil when they die. Apparently, what we've seen is they're immortal, which implies that they can never go to hell again. So they just stay on Earth until they receive more blood or something. So that certainly seems like a way to, like, it seems important. Like that's a way to get rid of devils, is to force them into humans and keep them on Earth forever. Which is certainly interesting. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but they never say like what would happen to a devil.
Xani or whatever seemed to die,
Quan Chi.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, but she's the devil, right? Oh, she's a half human, half devil. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because the other two didn't die. Katana Man was taken into custody, and Ray's walked. Oh, I guess Makima killed her too, huh? Yeah,
but Makima's Makima. She can find a way. I guess she killed this person too.
Yeah.
I would assume Makima is like an exception to that death thing. I don't know. But I just wonder, like, what happens if they do die? Does she surely, like, I don't think Quan Chi is going back to hell. I don't know. Okay, what else is there? There's open-ended questions.
Well, it wouldn't be her specifically. It would be the Hunter Devil or whatever, right? Or the Arrow or whatever she is.
Sure. Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
Because Denji isn't the chainsaw that was. Denji isn't Puchita.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Okay, then open-ended questions. If a devil lives in an endless cycle of birth and death, then when did they first come into existence? Like, are they initially born into hell, and then they like from there the cycle begins, or have they like I just don't? It just doesn't make sense. I mean, I'm sure it makes sense somehow, but I can't understand how. It's also
it's like a contradiction too. Like, did hell exist before humanity existed? How did the universe first come into existence? I'm not sure.
True, very true. What a question. Oh, and I guess I also theorized, like, since the primal fears are in hell and they've never died, I guess that implies that they do start in hell, right? I guess that kind of answers the question, doesn't it? Interesting. Other open-ended questions are, what happens if something is no longer feared? Like, will that devil just disappear or something? I have no idea, possibly. I assume they'd get weaker and eventually disappear.
There is like, because Denji kills a tomato devil in chapter 1, right? But tomatoes aren't that scary. But I guess there has to be somebody that's scared of tomato devils.
Yeah,
There's got to be somebody that's scared
but
of
there's
everything. It'd
not
probably be hard
everything.
to get
Like
rid
there
of
would be some
everything.
things that existed in the past that just no longer exist and no one has knowledge of anymore.
Yeah.
Like that would have to be a thing. And I don't know any examples or whatever, but I wonder what would happen in that case. You know, that poor devil,
Well, if
what
you
would they
knew
do in
it,
their
then
life?
it wouldn't exist. Yeah.
Exactly. So anyway, yeah.
Or hold on. Would it just not would it be on its last life then? It just couldn't reincarnate after that. So if the
Maybe,
concept that no
yeah.
longer is remembered, like it's its last time. Crazy.
That's kind of cute. I like that. Yeah, it's a story thing. Neat. Yeah. My question is, why is Chainsaw so important? And like, why is he the one like that everyone remembers before they die? Like, a fear of chainsaws is like extremely small. Like, it's a very niche thing. Like, I don't really.
Chainsaws are like scary, kinda, but yeah. It's
Okay,
not
but
like
they're
the
no more
biggest
scary
one.
than like a million other things. I could list
Like a
right now a
sword.
million things that are way scarier than a chainsaw. Yeah. So why
Chainsaws
is it
make
so
loud
important?
noises. They're pretty
So
scary.
does a blender. I think a blender is more scary because I'm more likely to like cut
No
myself on
shot.
it. I don't know. Um, I don't know. There's so many things I could list that are
It
more
is
scary than
true though
chainsaw.
that it's peculiar rather that chainsaw
Very
out of everything
peculiar.
seems to be the
A big deal.
and that's kind of a meta thing where it's kind of like, why is it Chainsaw Man? Like when you first hear that name, you're like, this kind of weird choice. But it kind of is
Yeah.
reflective in this of like, why is Chainsaw so important? Is it literally that it's wacky and funny? Potentially, we'll
Maybe.
find out.
Yeah. All right. Then I also have an open-ended question of what happens if a fiend dies. Will the devil inside the fiend go to hell, or will the devil just stop existing or something?
I guess
Like what
it's
would happen
kind of
if power dies? Like, will the blood fiend, like what happens? They just, I don't know. I have no idea.
yeah, because we obviously have fiends now, but we don't know if they've ever been fiends before. They've been devils before.
Yeah.
But I would assume so. But also it's all that question kind of plays into what happened to Kasani, which is what I keep calling her, or Race after they died. Yeah, like
Yeah, true.
did they go back?
I hope we get answers to this. What else? Let's see. My other question is why do devils make contracts? And what is are there any limits and like who gives this power to these contracts and stuff? Like contracts themselves are just, I assume this is one of the things I just have to forget. Like it's not an important detail, but like I just wonder like why do they have contracts? But it just feels like it's just part
Well,
of this world.
they seem to
it.
get stuff that they value, like in not in response. What am I looking?
I guess
Like
they do
skin
get
and
stuff in
stuff.
return.
But
Yeah.
even that, it seems like it's just like, oh, so humans have to give something up to get their powers. Like it just seems like it's to fuck with humans. Like, I'm going to take your arm. Like, what are they actually going to do with an arm?
Yeah.
But also, it is interesting. Like, is there a literal god or a literal Satan that's enforcing these contracts? Like, how do you
Makima,
die if you? Yeah, maybe it is Makima. Maybe she's both. Like,
Maybe.
why do you die if you don't honor the contract? Who's enforcing that death?
Yep.
Who knows?
All right. Next up, is there a heaven? Because there's a hell, and I never would have believed there was a hell. So that would imply that there's a heaven, maybe. So I wonder if there is one, and if we'll see it, and like how that will play into things.
This is the
And what would
berserk
it even
question.
be? You know,
Is there an idea of good
Sure.
EliteAri?
maybe.
We never found out. Maybe in the future. Berserk's not done apparently, but yes.
Very true. Now, hell. Next section here of theorizing, and maybe the very almost final section. So, oh boy, I have a few theories about Pochta's door. So obviously in hell we get like a bunch of doors, right? And we see that the Darkness Devil comes through one of those doors, and we know that the Darkness Devil has never died, so they shouldn't be able to go to Earth, but they might be able to. There's no like rule where it's like, oh, you can't go to hell. I mean, you can't
It's
go
to make
to
a
Earth.
contract with the Spider Devil.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm sure there are ways to get it across, but it's interesting, the doors and the Darkness Devil. So anyway, so a few of my theories here. I have two, I think, which is that the doors, firstly, a very obvious thing, which may or may not be true. I don't know how they'll go with it, but my first theory is that the doors connect hell and earth. Like that's the most obvious thing. When you see a door, it's like, okay, we're connecting the two dimensions here, right? Like you'll pass through the door, you'll go to earth or something. But so the idea is that if you step through the door, because there's obviously an infinite number of doors in hell, or maybe infinite, but if you step through a door in hell, it'll lead you to some physical place on Earth, right? That's one theory. But then, yeah, I guess that kind of, the question from there is, and the reason I don't think it is the case, is that would mean that the Darkness Devil came from Earth somewhere, which seems strange. Like that would be like a calamity for the human race if the Darkness Devil was on Earth, I feel like, just like the Gun Devil was, and way worse. So I don't know I don't think this is true, but it seems like the most obvious answer here. But the second answer, which is what I think is more likely, is that the doors in hell are a bridge between human minds and human fears, where like each door in hell corresponds to like a particular human fear. For instance, like the Darkness Devil came out of the Darkness door. So like if you step into a particular door from hell, then you will end up in the minds or dreams of all of the humans who have that fear. So for instance, the door with Denji would be like a door of what would it be in Denji? I don't know. Denji's case I feel like is a special case, but I feel like everyone would have doors in their mind like that, like the one Denji has, and the fears would be able to enter their minds through the doors in hell. That's kind of what I think it is. So one door in hell goes to many humans in the human world. It's a one-to-many connection there. Like I don't think it's a one-to-one. Then I guess my trying to shoehorn like Denji's experience into this theory, it could be that the case of half human, half devils is like a particular exception, where usually the doors are one directional, where you've got like a fear in hell being able to connect to the minds of humans through these doors. You could have these half human, half devils, where if they open a door in their mind, then it will like trap their spirit in hell for all eternity or something. Like it'll take their spirit to hell, which is like why Pochta's telling him not to open the door. So I don't know, something like that. I think that's the theory I'm sticking with, this theory too about the doors connecting like minds and fears and stuff. And it would kind of be similar to something I remember from Evangelion vaguely. So I think that's what I'm thinking of. What else is there?
I don't know about what favorite thing could you be thinking of?
I'll put a spoiler warning, guys. Evangelion. So as far as I understand, at the end of Evangelion, what do you call it, where all the minds come together in the end and they celebrate Shinji making it through?
Instrumentality.
Yeah, instrumentality. It could be a similar thing to instrumentality, right? Where like the whole global consciousness of the human race or whatever is all coming together.
I guess.
Like that could be what hell is in a way.
I was thinking doors, literally. I'm like, what door?
No, there's no doors in hell. Ava. Anyway, spoilers over. The other final thing about hell is that there's already fingers in a bathtub in hell. So it implies that people and human objects have traveled there before. It's not like it's not unprecedented. But also, it makes sense, and it is surprising that it isn't full of humans because the contract was so ridiculously cheap to send people to hell. Like all you needed was a contract with the Hell Devil. Maybe that's why it's so hard. Maybe it is hard to get a contract with the Hell Devil, but all it seemed to need was 4 kids or 3 kids or whatever, and your own life. And if you're a government like the Soviet Union, you could amass like hundreds of thousands of kids if you really wanted, and hundreds of people to get their lives. Like it's so easy to do that you'd figure they'd be experimenting with like how to get to hell so much that it would be. I'd
assume that somehow it could be like you have to care about the people you sacrifice, or somehow like somehow Santa
could maneuver that
likes the kids or something. It's like a Thanos meme.
Well, they could just get families, extract loving families, and get one of them to sacrifice. I'm sure you could do it if you're a tyrannical government.
Well, I would assume that the person who was benefiting from the contract would also have to care. So you could.
Well, then you just tell them that, okay, we'll take your 3 kids, but we'll save the rest of like your family or something. I don't know. Like you can breed families, right? Like as a government, you could forcibly breed and create children that love their parents and then use them for this purpose, right? Like how they made the guinea pigs.
Well,
like, I'm sure
the
they could.
Top down has to love them. I'm assuming. It can't be like,
I mean, why couldn't you raise over? Oh, I guess you're right. It's only been 30 years or whatever since the Devils came, so it is. You're right. That's a great point. Actually,
no, even if it's been a million years, I don't think this plan of yours works.
Wait, what's wrong with this? Let's say it's been many generations. The government is forcibly like creating a family.
You can't forcibly do it. This is part of the because the government can't benefit from something they don't care. Like you can't sacrifice something you don't care about.
No, the government's not doing the sacrificing. The government raises the parents to do the sacrificing, and they train the parents to respect the government.
So they're brainwashing the parents.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Hundreds
don't
of
know.
parents, and maybe if they get lucky, they'll get one that is caring. Like you can, as a government, you could have thousands of cases. If 999 fail, you could have one that succeeds, and then you got hell, access to hell. Like it's.
Well, it's not that easy.
They sent a whole
Yes.
department store to hell. They could send hundreds of, like, they could fill a department store with millions of people and send millions of people into hell, right? Like, all they need is one case for it to work. It's I don't know. It's just an interesting, like, it's surprising how easy it was to go to hell. Is it was so intriguing about it.
I also don't know if my interpretation is that like the human fingers were there literally because they used to belong to somebody.
Sure, yeah,
But yeah,
it could be.
Oh.
It could be anything.
yeah.
You're right.
Just before we move away from hell, the door thing is
Yep.
interesting because I think there is like some, because I think this is referenced in a Mad Men scene. I had to bring it up somehow, but there's a Mad Men scene where Roger goes on a monologue about he's seen his shrink, his psychiatrist, and he goes on a monologue about how life is just a bunch of doors, and you walk through them, and once you get to the other side, you're like, well, that wasn't that interesting, and you move on to the next door and rinse and repeat. It's a very depressing monologue.
Sure.
But I think this references some sort of like philosophy thing that also uses doors, like a famous philosophy thing that also uses doors. And I think that might be being referenced somehow with the doors. But it's fully in Fujimoto's fucking wheelhouse to literally it be a Monsters Inc. reference because he really likes Monsters Inc.
Sure.
And he somehow joined that to hell somehow. And it's fucking sick, bro. But
it is sick. All right. Hell. What a place. What else do I have to bring up? I wrote devil details. I guess these are more kind of hypothetical questions, but like, how is fear measured? Like, is it local or global? Like, is the typhoon devil feared more in Japan because typhoons are a thing in Japan versus like in Australia where you don't get anything? Like, is it based on where they're born? Like the fear in where they're born? Or is it like if it travels somewhere else, the fear will become stronger, like based on where it is? Like, is it a global fear? Is it like
I would
a
assume
temporal
it's
fear, like
global.
over time? Like,
and I assume it would change over time, but like, did every devil get weaker when the gun devil killed like 1 million people because there was like an 1 millionth decrease?
Yeah. Interesting.
I don't know.
I don't know either. And my other hypothetical devil question is, do devils age? Like, will the angel devil ever get older, or are they practically immortal? Like, if they don't die by other means, they'll live for millions of years.
The more interesting question is, will Denji ever get older?
Yeah, I guess that's an extension.
Because Sani or whatever her name is looks the same.
That's a good point. I wonder if that is why.
Denji's going to be 16 forever. We can never fuck Denji. No.
True. Well, I mean, he would age, but I guess his body wouldn't age. His mind would age, you know.
True. And that's what we care about with regard to consent laws.
All right, let's move on. So, hypothetical. I have one more question. The final question. All right. And I think we can both answer this because maybe you can't. I don't know. We'll see. The question is, hypothetically,
yes.
What if? I don't think it's a yes/no question, but in season 1, chapter 1 or whatever, when Denji fights the zombie devil, beats him, and then Makima comes and it's like, I give you a choice. You go with me or I kill you here. What would have happened if he said no? Right? Like, I just wonder. Like, I guess you'd have to know what Makima wants to figure out why. But like,
I absolutely 1,000,000% cannot answer this question.
Okay, good. It's just so interesting. Because she gave him the illusion of choice. She seemed to feel like it, at least when I read it, it seemed like she didn't know who he was, but clearly she did. So it's interesting. But that's it. My last hypothetical, and that's every theory thing I've got. What an arc. What 2 arcs. If someone can clarify my confusion as to this, this great what do you even call it, assassin arc, then I will bump it up a bit, and it will be a great arc.
By the time Miller hears this, he's already sent the message.
Good. Yeah, probably. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Well, anything else you want to say, Kyle, I guess?
Well, just quickly, we're doing the rest of part 1 next time, which is, I guess, 2 arcs. A kind of one big arc. Crazy stuff's about to happen.
It's up to chapter 97 for everyone.
Yes. So how much is it? What are we on, 70? So it's like 27 chapters. Bro, we're going to both read it tonight. We'll be recording tomorrow. Let's go. No, I have to record movie night.
Yes, busy times.
Bro, Ari, you got to watch this fucking movie, bro. It's crazy.
All right. I got too many things. I'm reading Chainsaw Man. I'm watching The Last of Us. I got to watch Demon Slayer season 2 somehow. So many
But
things.
Demon Slayer.
Amen.
never
I
mind.
agree. What a mid anime. A terrible
Hey, it's
manga.
true.
Yeah, I don't like Demon Slayer, but I mean it's fine. It's like a 6 out of 10 maybe. Anyway, enough of my hatred for Demon Slayer. Thank you everyone for watching. See you next time.